A fantastic night here in Paisley. Really looking forward to this one. A real buzz around the ground. A terrific crowd in here, you have to say. The St Mirren fans over on the far side with the display. They are getting behind their team, and why not? They've had a terrific start to the season. It's time now to sit back and enjoy the action. It's St Mirren against Hibs with Stephen Thompson, Michael Stewart and Rob McLean.
Cheers, Kenny. Yeah, for the third time this season, it is Hibs and St Mirren squaring up to each other. We must be guaranteed goals tonight when you think there have been 11 in the two meetings already. First game of the season, St Mirren won that one by 3-2 at Easter Road, and then the League Cup meeting of these two finished 4-2 in favour of Hibs. That time, it's an 11th game of the campaign for St Mirren, looking to strengthen their position in third place, get a little bit closer to second place. And I was just wondering, with it being their 11th game and the fact this is the second meeting with Hibs, who they haven't played so far, and the answer to that question is Ross County. That game postponed earlier. It will be rescheduled shortly, so there's a trip to Dingwall coming up for St Mirren. But they've got bags of momentum behind them. Beaten at Celtic Park in the last midweek, but no great disgrace there. They were ahead in that game as well. Joe Newell to the corner flag for Hibs, looking to get an early ball in the box. Just stabbed at it and plucked out of the air by Zach Hemming. In goal for St Mirren. One change in the home team if you've just joined us. Mikael Mandron back up front, Olasanya on the bench, and a couple of switches for Hibs with Josh Campbell replacing Martin Boyle. And a first start for Rory Whittaker, the 16-year-old at right back for Hibs, replacing Lewis Miller. Just the two changes from the team beaten in the League Cup semi-final at the weekend. Back on league business here. Rocky Bashiri for Hibs plays it back to David Marshall, with Mandron looking to close the goalkeeper down. Fired down the middle, headed away by Gogic. Conor McMenamin looking to collect the ball, just gets away from him. Back with the goalkeeper, McMenamin, who scored that St Mirren goal at Celtic Park last Wednesday. Celtic winning by 2-1 in the end, but there are only 2 defeats St Mirren in their first 10 in the league have been against Rangers and Celtic. Plenty to like about how Stephen Robinson's team have opened up this season. Can they keep on doing what they've been doing so far, as the ball is flicked in behind, left-hand side for Jair Tavares, keeps it well under pressure. Support from Obita. Pressure from McMenamin, and the ball goes back from halfway to Marshall. Out it goes in the direction of Rory Whittaker. Wasn't the best pass, had to hurry the youngster, and he managed to get there first. And back it goes to Will Fish, with Dylan Levitt popping up in between the two centre-backs to start things off for Hibs. To his left is Bashiri on the touchline of Beta. Halfway line in Paisley to Jair Tavares. Does well to squeeze his way between a couple of challenges. Now Levitt, opening play out, finding Eli Yuan on the right-hand side. Up ahead of him is Whittaker already, the youngster marauding down that flank and looking to combine with Yuan. The ball goes out for a Hibs throw.
Looked a foul to me, to be honest with you. I thought it was only to be shoved in the back, but it's great to see the youngster getting given an opportunity to start the game tonight. I don't think it happens enough in our Scottish top league, so fantastic night for him.
And of course, as you said, that lost his footing. But he's a big unit, isn't he, for 16?
He is, you know. I mean, at that age, you know, my son's 15 and they can look so young, and some can look like men, so there's a big difference for when the kids are kind of going through their different growing stages at that time. But you know, as I said, just to reiterate, it's brilliant to see Nick Montgomery giving him the opportunity to go and show what he can do.
Taylor plays the ball forward for St Mirren, cleared by Jordan Obita. Jair Tavares again. Sometimes when he looks to be losing it, he's got that knack of just getting control of the ball against all odds, and he's done it again there, and Hibs retain possession. Levitt looking to direct operations from the central midfield for Hibs. The ball goes wide again for Whittaker. Joe Newell is partner in crime for Levitt in the central area for Hibs, and both very capable of directing passes and dictating the play. Back from Obita to Bashiri, and again with David Marshall in his luminous outfit and goal. Out to Will Fish. Talking of Whittaker, it was interesting here, Nick Montgomery, he's come off the bench in games against Celtic and Rangers, and also in that League Cup semi-final at the weekend. There is plenty of faith in the youngster, and this his first start. Left-hand side defensively for Hibs is Rocky Bashiri. Nothing to do much happening up ahead, so just stays patient, and the ball goes back to Marshall, and it's switched across to the other side. Patient play from Hibs, looking for their first win in a while. 6 without a win, although 4 of those were draws, and they certainly felt unlucky at Hampden at the weekend as their League Cup campaign came to an end. Down the line it goes from Tanzer, looking to pick out Mikael Mandron in attack, but it slips away from him and through to the Hibs keeper, David Marshall.
Hibs will be pleased with the way they've started the game. They're getting a lot of touches of the ball, an awful lot of possession. St Mirren not really troubled by anything yet. A lot of it sideways and back the way, but certainly keeping the ball well at Hibs.
Good strength from Rocky Bashiri. The challenge from Mandron in behind. Down went the Hibs central defender. Free kick given. And the ball is taken on by Joe Newell. Into the centre circle he goes. Goalless early on in Paisley between St Mirren and Hibs. Hibs using a long ball down the right side, which never looked as if it was going to hit its target. It slides behind. Goal kick St Mirren. And Zach Hemming to take it. Had that successful spell on loan at Kilmarnock, and he's doing well. As Tomo says, a good record of successful goalkeepers in Paisley in recent times.
Yeah, it certainly has been, and he's been a great find this season. Really impressed with him. It's a good season so far. Richard
Taylor on it, just cushions a pass towards Tanzer, back to Taylor, but body position wasn't going to be able to keep the ball in. It has gone out on the far side for a throw-in. How much, Michael, is this about mentality for Hibs tonight, coming off that big disappointment at the weekend?
Yeah, it's massive, of course. As Tomo said, they've started the game brightly. The key for Hibs is, as they build this game up, that they start to be able to get in behind St Mirren and play some more forward passes, because he's right, a lot of it's been sideways and backwards at the moment, and then Obita try to play a forward ball there and it just breaks down, so they need to have some penetration and cutting edge on their side. But St Mirren and Stephen Robinson will not be particularly happy with how the opening few minutes have passed.
No, just a bit of sloppy stuff in the middle from Mark O'Hara there, giving it away. Hibs have it again down the left side with Obita. Back he goes. Levitt tried to slip a pass through. It's well cut out, and now St Mirren look to get forward. Mandron in the centre circle, holds it up and rolls the ball out wide for Tanzer. Lovely ball down the left flank for Mandron. It's good movement as well from St Mirren's number 9. In comes the cross ball. Fish gets his head to it, but it's not convincingly clear. It's collected right hand side for Marcus Fraser to swing it across. It's cleared, but not convincingly again, and it was a shooting chance for Tanzer. 25 yards out, it's gone comfortably wide.
Yeah, that's what St Mirren are so good at, isn't it? Getting the ball wide and putting dangerous balls into the box. Hibs not really clearing either of them convincingly. When it falls to Tanzer, a good 20 to 25 yards out, he just hits it into the ground and drags it. It's a difficult ball. It was kind of on the half volley for him and drags it 20 feet wide of the post.
It's an already tight midsection. Well, I think it's gone beyond the midsection. It's now in the mid to bottom section of the Premiership. Really tight. Could have been even tighter had St Johnstone held on last night. They were 2 up against Motherwell, and had they got all 3 points, they'd have settled for 1 in the end, of course. Well, it was going to be ridiculously tight at the bottom of the table, because that would have taken St Johnstone to double figures. And it would have meant, for instance, that Hibs tonight would have been just a point off the bottom going into this one rather than 3.
It's crazy how tight it is, and it just shows you that there's not a lot between the sides in the division. There really isn't. If you can string a couple of results together, it can fire you right up the league into the European positions likely. If you lose a couple of games, you can find yourself down in trouble. I wonder how long it's going to last like that.
Good defending from Gogic on the end of a long ball from Fish. They've played a lot of nice passes. They've had a lot of good possession, Hibs, in the match, but nothing particularly penetrative so far. Nothing that's troubled St Mirren unduly. Fraser at the back, right side of a back three, plays it to Hemming, and the goalkeeper thumps it forward. Up went McMenamin, up to went Obita. His header found Newell, and back with central defender Fish. Across to the right side, the teenage Whittaker. Infield from Ewan. He's given that away really cheaply, and St Mirren work it forward to Mandron. A clumsy challenge into the back of him from Fish, and that will be a St Mirren free kick. 0-0 in Paisley.
Yeah, Ellie Ewan, you know, you just don't know what you're going to get from him at times. He can do the sublime, he can also do the ridiculous, giving the ball away there into Mandron's feet, and it was a definite foul through the back of Mandron. A chance for St Mirren to get the big men up, put a diagonal into the box.
Hibs have their defensive line, couple of yards outside the penalty box. Free kick, left-hand side. Tanzer puts a lot of action on it, but he also put a lot of height on it. It's grabbed and then lost by David Marshall. No free kick. Well, it seemed initially that the free kick wasn't going to be given against the challenge on David Marshall. It finally is, and Marshall's taken a sore when he fell awkwardly there.
Now, look, I'm of the view at times that goalkeepers are a protected species, but that one was that was crazy. I mean, I don't know what the referee was waiting for, and I don't know what it was that eventually changed his mind to blow the whistle, but I think it was quite clear that David Marshall had been fouled, and it looked like a sore one when he came landing down on the ground.
He would definitely be winded. I mean, Alex Gogic kind of fires into him. I think it's the fact that Marshall's already in the air and kind of off balance when Gogic hits him, that then when he lands he can't kind of land in any soft part of his body, lands on his back, and thankfully he's up on his feet and okay to play again.
Takes the free kick himself, plays it out to Fish, and he'll switch it across to his central defensive partner Bushiri. Levitt takes it away and fires a pass into the feet of Obita on the touchline. He just hurries his pass, but it's a mistake by Gogic, and it's gone through to Vente, who turns it back inside, and Josh Campbell celebrates his return to the starting lineup for Hibs with the opening goal. St Mirren 0, Hibs 1.
It's a terrible mistake from Gogic. The pass is straight to him from the left back of Obita. It looked like he was starting a motorbike, lifts his foot above the ball. It's then laid into the path by Vente, and it's a simple finish from about 16 yards into the bottom corner. A good finish, but a very avoidable goal from St Mirren, and an uncharacteristic mistake from Gogic, who's been so good this season, but on that occasion a real lapse of concentration has cost St Mirren.
Something you don't see very often, as Tom was saying there, not just from Gogic but from St Mirren more generally, that they seldom gift teams, you know, easy opportunities, but take nothing away from Josh Campbell, because it's a really good finish from about the edge of the box, a composed pass into the bottom corner, and Zach Hemming's got no chance. But yeah, you can imagine that Stephen Robinson will be bitterly disappointed with how his side's ended up 1-0 down. But for Hibs, it's a bright start that's now been solidified with them being able to convert when they've been on top, because they've not really been able to get in behind and trouble St Mirren, although they were keeping the ball well. So to be able to get their noses in front 1-0, very, very good start for Nick Montgomery and his men.
Yeah, you tend not to get gift goals here in Paisley, but that was gift wrapped. It looked a really poor pass from Jordan Obita straight at Alex Gogic, but he somehow took his eye off it. The ball slipped under his boot, and Hibs certainly capitalised on the mistake, and that is Josh Campbell's 4th goal of the season, and it's a really significant opening goal in the night. 12 minutes in, as he side-footed past Hemming. 1-0 Hibs, and St Mirren have got a free kick out on the left-hand side.
very similar position to the one where David Marshall got hit just a few moments ago. Before the goal, another chance to put the ball into the box. So I don't think St Mirren have started the game particularly well. They let those couple of crosses in from open play, but generally, to me, they've started the game slowly. Hibs have definitely started the better side.
Just a few yards in from the touchline, left-hand side, midway inside the Hibs half. Tanzer with the free kick into a good area again. It's pretty well defended though by Hibs, who are delighted to come off that losing semi-final with the opening goal in a difficult fixture here in Paisley, but it has been a pretty composed and confident start from Hibs, and they've taken that big opportunity to get their noses in front. What will be the response from St Mirren?
It's another good ball in, that one from the wide area from Tanzer. He does have such a fantastic delivery. I think it was actually Richard Taylor who kind of rose but could not direct the ball goalwards. Almost looked as though he'd cleared it out of his own box rather than trying to put it towards the Hibernian goal.
He gives it plenty, doesn't he, Tanzer, on these free kicks and getting action on it?
He really does. His delivery's superb.
Forward goes Marcus Fraser, a driving run down the right, and he gets it back, continuing his run. Jair Tavares tries to get close to him. Rolled back towards Ryan Strain, and Strain clips it into the middle where Richard Taylor has got a little bit of room to have a look, and then he drives with the ball and plays it wide. Tanzer from open play this time tries to get the ball in the box. The cross is blocked, and it's gone out for a throw in about 10 yards from the corner flag on the St Mirren left-hand side. Paisley team trailing on the night by a 0-0. Josh Campbell making the difference. So far, one of two changes for Hibs. Managerial masterstroke might be one description for it. And the long throw is going to be taken by the man who made the mistake leading up to that Hibs goal, Alex Gogic. And his mistakes tend to stand out because he doesn't make too many of them. In comes the long throw then from Gogic for St Mirren. Rocky Bashiri taking charge defensively and powering a header away. Taylor tries to play it back down the line towards Gogic. The ball goes out and it's going to be a Hibs throw.
Yeah, it's just been a scrappy start from St Mirren. What are we now, 16 minutes in? I'm looking at Stephen Robinson down in the technical area. It does not look a happy man. Obviously the goal is highly avoidable, but I think generally I'd like to see more tempo from his team.
On the attack for Hibs, left-hand side, Jair Tavares facing up to Ryan Strain. Good defending from the Australian, and keeps possession of the ball and plays it back towards Marcus Fraser. He curls one down the line straight at Newell, his header, and Ryan Strain picks up possession again for St Mirren, tries to work it down the line, but Hibs are working hard here at protecting what they have at the moment and making life difficult for St Mirren as they look to come back at Hibs here. Fraser, Gogic from the throw-in and back again, and into the middle for Taylor inside the centre circle, and he flights a ball out wide for Tanzer to note it down, looking to link up with Greg Kiltie on that side, and the ball is out for a St Mirren throw-in. Not too many empty seats to be had inside here. It's a well-filled ground as St Mirren look to come back from a goal down. Cross ball into the box, and a decent flicked header away by Jordan Obita at the back post, getting the better of McMenamin. Out for a throw-in, and Strain to take this for St Mirren, about 15 yards from the flag, the corner flag. Back to him from O'Hara, combining. O'Hara bursting his way to the byline, clips the ball in at the near post, and the St Mirren fans reckon he was caught late by Newell as he got that cross in.
Well, it looked like a free kick, although, say, Mark O'Hara wasn't complaining too much. Nice little turn from O'Hara in a tight area, got in front of Joe Newell, he got the cross away, but yeah, it looked from this angle like Joe Newell had slid on him a little bit late.
Sports Sound live from Paisley. St Mirren 0, Hibs 1, and the best part of 19 minutes gone. Levitt in possession, and he finds a good pass to release Whittaker down the right. He plays it for Yuan, right on the touchline. The goal scorer, Campbell, trying to switch it across, holding up his hand of acknowledgement because it wasn't a great pass. Hibs have it again though with Newell, who threads it through, just a little bit too much on it. Played it with the outside of the left foot down the inside right channel. Wasn't a bad idea at all. Sliding off his line to collect was Hemming.
It's very, very close to being a perfect ball through, and Vente would have been getting a strike away, but just the last couple of moments there, you see the difference with Josh Campbell in the middle of the park. He's won a ball back in the middle, getting a turnover. I know he gave away the crossfield ball that he attempted to play, but there's just more bodies in the middle of the park for Hibs rather than two out-and-out strikers who almost at times, having watched Hibs, I know that Josh Campbell's standing up there just now, but what you're seeing just now in terms of a front four is what you see a lot of the time. Four guys standing in a flat line across the back line, which becomes quite easy to defend against as well, and it becomes an even bigger gap in the middle of the park for those two guys to try and fill, because they're there isolated and all alone, whereas Josh Campbell making these runs from a little bit deeper and giving a little bit more of a presence in the middle of the park, for me it certainly gives a better balance to the Hibs side.
See Mirren lose it cheaply again. Jair Tavares to Newell. He squares it for Eli Yuan, setting himself up for the left foot shot. Great block. Richard Taylor flung himself in the way of what looked like a goal-bound effort that from Yuan. Hibs are looking to add to their one-goal advantage already.
Slack again from St Mirren though. Two opportunities to clear the ball. They were closed down. Eventually it comes to Yuan, who does well to make space at the edge of the box, cutting from his right foot onto his left foot. And you're right, Robert, it was a fantastic block from Richard Taylor. Comes flying out to block the shot. It did look like it was going on target.
They have a spring in their step here, Hibs, but Whittaker's given it away, and the ball is worked through towards McMenamin, who rolls it back inside for O'Hara to have a shot at goal. He was trying to side foot it, and it was a good block defensively from Hibs to keep him out.
McMenamin looked well offside to me.
Angled ball from Jair Tavares for Dylan Vente, right side of the box, holds it up at the byline and tries to fire that in from a surely impossible angle.
The ball over the top was fantastic. Richard Taylor was just ambling onto it. I don't think he felt it was going to go stay in play. Vente gets to it, and it was kind of Van Basten type angles. If he'd got that in target, it would have been an incredible effort, as it was.
Well, he is the right nationality, I suppose, isn't he?
Yeah, just just kind of went past the side net, and he certainly caught it sweetly enough. But St Mirren, this is as poor as I've seen St Mirren, certainly in Paisley so far this season.
If you were a betting person, you might be having a little wager on Hibs getting the next goal in the game, Michael. It looks that way at the moment, doesn't it, rather than St Mirren squaring this up?
Yeah, at the moment it does. It's been a bright opening 20 minutes or so from Hibs, and that was another good bit of play, breaking quickly on St Mirren, and uncharacteristically and surprisingly, St Mirren have had some gaps.
This time it's Hibs who give the ball away pretty cheaply. It was Dylan Levitt who was caught on the ball. St Mirren have it, and they look to create something. There's been very little for them so far in the attacking third. Working it around at the moment. McMenamin, right-hand side, curls one in. Kilty gets himself onto it, whips it into the middle, comes off Joe Newell, made a good block as the ball was coming in, and he stabs it back in the direction of his goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best cross in the world, but Greg Kilty did well to get a hold of it, turns sharply, but then he was kind of losing his balance as he tries to cross it in, and when he does, it really doesn't have any pace on it. It was easily enough for Joe Newell to get across and cut it out.
That was maybe the first time Hibs have given it away in the game so far. It's all been pretty neat and tidy from them. Just maybe a little bit over-ambitious that time from Levitt, but he's been a key player in the game, just working the ball around.
He's technically very good, he really is. You know, on the ball, he can see passes, he sees the whole picture. I think in games possibly when they're up against a 3 and he's really having to work defensively, I don't think that's quite his strongest suit, but when he's on the ball and he's afforded space and time, he can see things.
Headed away from Gogic at the back for St Mirren, then gets it back from O'Hara, the St Mirren captain. Taylor to Tanzer, and Hibs hunting the ball down, or trying to at the moment, pressing, making life difficult for St Mirren as they try to play it away and keep the ball. Free kick given for a challenge in O'Hara in the midfield. And we're past the midway point in the first half, 24 minutes gone. BBC Radio Scotland. And St Mirren 0, Hibs 1. Josh Campbell making the difference after a glaring Gogic error. It's he on the ball at the moment, the Cypriot international, with a long diagonal which is right down the throat of Obita, and he can head that away. Throw in just underneath us, and it's taken by McMenamin to Fraser. Forward from O'Hara, stabbed forward really. Not played with any great conviction. Here he comes again, the captain, down the line. Conor McMenamin, the Northern Ireland international, onto the left foot, in swinging, headed away by Fish. A little collision involving Newell, but I don't think anyone was going to be looking for a penalty from that. Well, there were some optimistic noises around us.
It sounded like there was a couple of thousand St Mirren fans who were cheering for it.
Yeah. On the halfway line, Taylor trying to work it out wide. I think the pass was intended for Tanzer. Finally finds him close to the corner of line. Good ball in, punched away by Marshall under pressure, and then the looping header back into the box is grabbed by the goalkeeper. Great play again by Tanzer.
Great ball. It really was in a very dangerous area. Rocky Bashiri's gone down as well. Just a coming together with Bashiri, Mandron and David Marshall. It was in such a difficult area for anybody to really deal with. But good play from St Mirren. Unfortunately for them, it didn't come to anything though.
It's a European, sorry, I was just going to say a European double bill tomorrow night, Tomo, on Sports Sound, of course. From Greece to Govan it is tomorrow night, isn't it? PAOK against Aberdeen firstly, and then Rangers against Sparta Prague.
Yeah, a very difficult game, you would imagine, for Aberdeen over there. We saw just how difficult it was for Hearts when they went out to that stadium. The atmosphere's very hostile, to say the least. For Rangers against Sparta tomorrow night, the first half I was over in Sparta and they completely dominated, really should have scored, but they didn't manage to do that. And
Prague.
as the game, what
is
did I say?
Is Sparta near Prague, yeah? You said when I was over in Sparta.
That's all right, is it not?
Yeah, he's getting confused.
Is that like Slavia?
He's getting confused with Greece.
You are just so pernickety, aren't you? Sitting there.
I think it's sitting beside him, Tomo. That it's quite infectious.
Honestly. Anyway, Rangers grew into the game and did well to get the result. I think that if they start the game like they finished the game over in Prague, then they've got a good chance of winning at Ibrox tomorrow night.
Back underway in Paisley, 27 minutes gone. St Mirren 0, Hibs 1. Can Stephen Robinson's team come back at Hibs? Well, it's Hibs who have a chance to break here now with Jair Tavares right in the middle of the pitch, keeping possession, just waiting for the moment, not giving it away, and he does find the youngster Whittaker.
Yeah, but you wait so long that St Mirren all get back. I mean, he's got great pace. I just felt as if he could have been breaking it at a bit more speed, and him and Vente could have been able to do something. Now, granted, he kept possession, and Hibs are still down in St Mirren's third, but still, keep going back to this. St Mirren seldom gift opposition, chances. They've done that tonight, and there's gaps still in that back line. But I can't imagine that happening for 90 minutes. I think you need to grasp those opportunities when they present themselves.
Just seen Tanzer giving it away, losing the ball, letting it run out of play on the far side, and it's maybe symptomatic of this St Mirren performance so far, Tomo, just stuttering at the moment.
Yeah, it's been unusually sluggish in terms of St Mirren pressing teams and making things difficult for them. I feel as though Hibernian are being afforded too much time on the ball to make their passes, possibly too big a gap between the defence and the midfield as well at this minute in time.
This is a typical thing for Hibs, where they've got their back four and then they've got the two midfielders who drop really deep looking for the ball, and then there's like a 20-yard gap between them and what is effectively a front four. Now, I've been making a lot about the fact that Josh Campbell's been playing tonight, but there, and on a couple of occasions, he's playing like an out-and-out striker. It's a flat line at the top end of the park. You need to get a bit of depth in your team. You need to have players that are, you know, not all standing in a line, because that's easy to defend against, and it's very difficult if you're a midfielder to pick the ball up and you've got nobody making angles for you.
Ryan Strain down the right hand side, and again you can hear the groans from the St Mirren fans as he looked to find a little bit of room for a cross, couldn't find it, couldn't get away from Obita, and it was hassled out of play by Hibs. Just need to be patient, St Mirren, and get themselves back in the groove. But so far Hibs worthy of their 1-0 lead. A Strain takes the throw, gets it back, cross into the box, just a little bit of hesitation before Newell cleared, thumping the ball into the main stand here. Another throw-in coming St Mirren's way, almost at the half-hour mark. Josh Campbell's goal, the only one. Strain's throw finds Taylor, and back on halfway is Gogic. Just a little shimmy to get him away from Campbell. Plays it right side. Back with Marcus Fraser. Working it along the halfway line. Taylor looks to get Tanzer going down that left-hand side. The wing-back collects and rolls it inside. Back again for Tanzer. Got such a good delivery. Right-footed this time, not so strong as on the left, and that allowed Fish to clear pretty easily. Enjoying a little bit of concerted possession at the moment of the ball, at least St Mirren, as they try to build a better performance. Wide it goes again, left-hand side. Tanzer, in comes the cross ball, fended away by Obita. Taylor onto it, down goes the big centre-back under Newell's challenge. Stephen McLean not impressed, no free kick. To the byline for St Mirren on the left-hand side. Clumsy, unnecessary challenge into the back, and that will be a free kick on the byline.
It was
needless.
Exactly. It was Joe Newell was down on the halfway line. I don't know whether he felt like he'd been fouled, but then he springs back up. He got back in to make the initial challenge. You know, from this angle, you're thinking as he was running in, you see free kicks given, but he managed to win the ball, and then he goes running into a tackle where the St Mirren players running towards the corner flag, and he just barges him in the back. Absolutely needless. And you know St Mirren have got very good delivery. This is the last thing you need to be doing, is giving them a chance to throw it into the box.
So free kick almost on the byline, whipped in towards the back post, just a little bit too much elevation on it, and it skims off Tanzer's head and behind for the goal kick.
Yeah, it was Ryan Strain with the delivery. You could see what he was doing. He was looking for Tanzer at that back post area, just a wee bit too much on it. Tanzer at full stretch, managing to get his head to it, but could only really flick it on, and goes out for a bye kick for David Marshall to take.
Joe Newell will be relieved that nothing came of that free kick, because it was very avoidable from a Hibs point of view. Dylan Levitt switches the ball across from right to left, and Obita with room to run into down the left-hand side. Wide of him is Jair Tavares. He jinks infield. What can he do from here? Running along the edge of the box, squares it for Eli Yuan. Shooting chance. It's blocked, but it breaks back out. Whittaker with the angle shot, saved by Hemming. The bodies are tumbling at the moment inside the penalty box. Yuan tries again. Another save from the goalkeeper. It's a real scramble to get it clear. Hibs have it back, and they can keep the pressure on here. Obita in the middle of the pitch, plays it to Levitt. Levitt tries to thread it through. Finally, Taylor gets it away from the danger zone, but Hibs immediately work it back out wide for Yuan. His pass intercepted by Taylor. St Mirren look to get it away, and that is some escape with the shots raining in on the St Mirren goal.
Stephen Robinson is not a happy man, is he? He really isn't. I mean, honestly, that was a stramash to end all stramashes. 3 or 4 shots blocked, people, a penalty claim, people flying everywhere, bodies flying everywhere.
And you chuckling down the mic.
Yeah, I mean, you could only laugh at that. It was absolutely comical.
A couple of good saves from Zach Hemming as well.
Yeah, I think there was one in there. I mean, it was hard to see who the ball was hitting off of at one stage. But it was like Skittles. But I mean, Stephen Robinson very unhappy with how his team are performing.
Hibs giving it everything to stretch their advantage in the game, and maybe unlucky not to be further in front. Just the 1-0 lead so far, courtesy of Josh Campbell, but they couldn't have tried any harder there to go further in front. Really banging on the door at the moment towards getting a second goal.
They've been good, Hibs.
Yep. Jair Tavares to Campbell, whipped in. Eli Yuan with the left foot shot, and you were just waiting for that to be nestling in the bottom corner. Maybe it should have been. It's gone wide.
Another really good move from Hibs, doubling up down the left-hand side. Lobita and Tavares getting eventually down the line, whipping the ball across. And as you were saying there, you're just waiting for the net to bulge once it got in the path of Eli Yuan, whipping it across the face of the goal, and eventually obviously missing the far corner. But as he struck that, you're thinking the goalkeeper, Hemming's got no chance. Loads of pace on it. Unfortunately for Hibs, it goes past the post, and St Mirren managed to stay in the game here as they approach the final 10 minutes of the half, which is no doubt for Nick Montgomery is exactly what he would have been looking for in terms of a response to the disappointment of the weekend. Coming to a difficult venue here in Paisley, they've performed very well, and you know, you've got to, as uncharacteristic and as poor as St Mirren have been, I think you've got to put some of that down to the way that Hibs have played. They've been quick, they've been incisive, and yes, their goals come from a mistake, but they've been creating more chances as this half has worn on.
I think it's great to see the re-emergence of Jair Tavares, who was so far out of the reckoning as far as first team football was concerned at Hibs.
I was going to say, I wouldn't even say it's a re-emergence, it's just an emergence.
Yeah, well, but what I mean is he's been here for a while.
Yeah, he came here and he never got a sniff at all.
Yeah, but he's actually become a really big part of what Hibs do now. And he's there's something elusive about him when he's on the ball.
Yeah, there is. There's no doubt about it. And he's got pace. He's direct. He puts defenders under pressure in 1v1 situations. I mean, you get pace like that on the left and Eli Yuan on the right. It's going to cause defences problems no matter what. And so far that's been the case. I think he's had more of the ball than Yuan has over on the right. Although when he's been crossing it in, Yuan's been doing well to get in at the back post and into the edge of the box to pick up scraps.
Hibs will be hoping they don't regret missing opportunities, because they have really dominated this first half in terms of goal scoring chances. Just the one taken so far, and you would be working on the basis that St Mirren are going to be better second half than they've been first.
You'd like to think so. I think it could be a bit of a team talk from Stephen Robinson at half time. This is not what he thinks his team should be playing like, or what he expects them to play like.
O'Hara to strain, but well, there's Jair Tavares working really hard. Apart from when he's on the ball, he's working hard when he's off the ball as well. He's really putting in a shift for Nick Montgomery here down the left hand side, supporting Lobita when the left back is under pressure, and really doing the full deal. Hibs a goal ahead as the ball is worked by St Mirren to Strain, who curls one towards the edge of the box, looking for Mikael Mandron, who's been chasing shadows for much of this first half. Rocky Bushiri hooks the ball out of play, and it's a St Mirren throw in right hand side with 37.5 minutes on the clock. Throw in goes to O'Hara, back to Strain. Fraser to Gogic, angled forward and headed away by Eli Yuan. He getting back on the right hand side to do a shift as well for Hibs. Now Taylor right in the middle of the pitch for Marcus Fraser. Down the line it goes for Strain. Fraser again curls a cross into the box, headed away by Rocky Bushiri. Not the most convincing clearing header you ever seen, but it does find its way out for a throw-in. Can St Mirren get this game levelled up before half-time? In comes a cross ball from Fraser, headed away by Fish, bouncing towards the left side of the box, hooked back in, and the header from Mikael Mandron, who's coming away from goal to try and force something of a save out of David Marshall, but it's missed the target.
Yeah, it was virtually impossible for him to score from that angle. I think Tanzer does well to hook it back into an area, but it's behind everybody, and Mandron's having to kind of arch every sinew in his body to try and get the header. It was looping a metre over David Marshall's bar, just about as close as St Mirren have come really from open play. It's been a quiet half for David Marshall, apart from when he was clattered into by Alec Gogic.
The Premiership table could look a whole lot happier for Hibs by the time we're finished tonight if the story remains the same. Plenty of football though to be played. St Mirren well capable of coming back at them, but it's been certainly a strong first half showing from Nick Montgomery's team, and they could go up a few places in the league if they can get all 3 points here. They certainly want to win. It's been a while. On the ball, Levitt given away, intercepted by Gogic. O'Hara in the middle to Strain, and Fraser appears alongside to help him out. Looking forward, not seeing too much Strain. Square it goes. Boyd Muntz plays a pass to the byline for Tanzer. Curled it in. It was curling out towards the edge of the area, which made life difficult for Mandron. Hibs were comfortable in getting that clear.
It was a good ball over the top from Boyd Muntz. Somebody I really like. Anytime I've watched him, I think he's got really good ability. He dropped that ball pinpoint over the top for Tanzer.
Another cross ball in from Tanzer, headed away at the near post. The follow-up shot is well off target from Boyd Muntz.
Certainly getting enough crosses in St Mirren. I mean, as much as they haven't played well in this opening half, they must have had from open play 7-8 decent balls into the box. Just nobody getting on the end of them. That one was cleared, comes to the edge of the box. Boyd Muntz takes a touch and again 25 yards out. He catches it okay, but it was always rising from the minute it left his foot harmlessly over David Marshall's bat.
Just about 4 minutes left of the first half in Paisley. BBC Radio Scotland, St Mirren nil, Hibs 1, and just a momentary lapse in concentration from Obita. Lets the ball drift out for a St Mirren throw-in. Fraser prods it inside towards O'Hara, and Boyd Muntz beginning to have more of an influence in the game. Tanzer's cross ball in, and it just flashed towards Greg Kiltie, and he couldn't really get control of it, and the ball goes behind for a goal kick. I think St Mirren will happily get themselves regrouped at half-time and come up with something a bit better after the interval, Tomo.
Yeah, I mean, I think Scott Tanzer's had a decent amount of the ball down the left-hand side. That was another good pick-out from Boyd Muntz, and this time the cross wasn't as good. Greg Kiltie trying to get something on it and knocking it out for a goal kick, but yeah. Oh. Whoa!
Mistake by Fish. Mandron was almost in, and good work by Newell to get the central defender out of jail there. It was a really clumsy touch, and suddenly Mandron, who's been starved of anything, almost had a half chance of getting a crack at goal.
He just panicked. Joe Knowles played the ball. You know, it's in a tight area. They're clearly, it's what they're looking to do is to play out. I just felt that when that ball got played to Will Fish, he was getting pressure applied on him, and he just panicked and wanted to drive into the inside channel, and his first touch was all over the shop, rather than, for me, taking the touch and staying, opening up down the line.
Jordan Obita chesting down across there, ending up and giving it away. He was trying to chest it back to David Marshall there, but it was a mix-up, no communication between left back and goalkeeper, and almost coughed up an opportunity there for St Mirren, who spirits are being lifted a little as half-time beckons. Another cross ball in from Tanzer, missed completely by Fish, fired in on goal, knocked off the line by Obita, and suddenly things looking a whole lot brighter for St Mirren. Gogic fires one forward, but doesn't find Strain, and that is going to slip out of play close to the corner flag.
These last 5 minutes have been St Mirren's best spell in the opening half, without a shadow of a doubt, and most of it, in fact all of it, coming down the left-hand side. Another great ball in by Tanzer, more confusion in the box. It falls, the St Mirren player drives it towards goal, but Hibs have got bodies back that managed to clear it. But yeah, without a doubt, St Mirren applying more pressure, albeit a wee bit too little too late in terms of this half.
it's not as if it's a blustery night, is it?
No, it's not.
I don't know how Will Fish missed the ball.
Yeah.
You know, the cross came in, he jumped up, and it was as if he completely misjudged it.
Missed it by a mile.
Yeah.
Here goes Tanzer again. Just a little change of pace. Gets a great ball in back post. Well, it was screaming for a finishing touch. 3 St Mirren players coming in that back post area. None of them could get the crucial touch.
Well, there's another one. You know, they're really applying the pressure just before half-time here. And as Tomo said, it's all coming down the left with Tanzer. He's whipping balls in for fun. And they're getting closer and closer to getting somebody on the end of it. They're into some really dangerous areas. That was another one, but the 3 players round the back just not able to get anything on target.
Hibs have looked pretty calm and confident for a lot of this first half. Not so in the last few minutes, looking distinctly ruffled at the back at the moment. Hibs, and half-time might come at a good time for them as they protect this 1-0 advantage. St Mirren are definitely getting a lift at the moment, and the whistle might go at the wrong time for them as Yuan goes forward. He was fouled. Stephen McLean let it go for a moment, but he's going to bring it back for the free kick as we find out there are 2 minutes to be added to the first 45. 1-0 Hibs in Paisley.
So it's taken them too long to find their groove in the game. Really slow start from them, and then obviously the big mistake from Gogic. But as the half's grown on, certainly in the last 10 minutes, St Mirren have looked more threatening all down that left-hand side. Just nobody managing to get on the end of it.
Long ball up to Mandron, doesn't stick for St Mirren's number 9. Again, looking a bit twitchy is Will Fish at the back for Hibs. The ball is with him again, and it goes further back to David Marshall. Inside stoppage time we are in Paisley. Rocky Bashiri plays it forward, and Jair Tavares looks to keep it. He was short with a pass to Dylan Levitt. Kilty looking for the chance to get a shot in on goal. It was blocked. Boyd Muntz to Tanzer again down that left side. He just lost his footing that time, Scott Tanzer, and the ball goes out on the far side. And I think Hibs will be pretty happy to hear that half-time whistle coming up in a matter of seconds, because the home team are coming back at them with a vengeance here after a disappointing showing by their high standards. But every indication that in the second half they will be much more competitive. Ryan Strain plays it forward for McMenamin. Back it goes to Gogic. Alongside him, Taylor. Drifting across the pitch, Richard Taylor. And the ball is played wide again on this right side to Strain. Curling ball down the line, headed away by Jordan Abita, and out. And a look at the watch and a blast of the whistle from Stephen McLean, and that is half-time here in Paisley. And Hibs lead by a 1-0 halfway through as they look to bounce back from Hampden disappointment at the weekend, but they've been pretty impressive here in the main in the first 45, looking pretty confident and going in front, cashing in on a mistake from Alex Gogic. You don't see too many of those from the Cypriot international, but when Jordan Abita played a pretty poor pass straight at the St Mirren defender, he allowed it to slip under his boot. Dylan Venter set up. Josh Campbell returning to the Hibs starting lineup, and he took the chance very well, side-footing past Zach Hemming for what has proved to be the only goal of the first half. Hibs could have gone further in front. There was a left foot effort from Eli Yuan which flashed wide. There was a glorious scramble inside the St Mirren box at one stage when the shots were raining in on goals. Couple of saves from Hemming, couple of good blocks as well. Hibs were denied, and it was really only in the last 5 minutes of the first half that we saw St Mirren anything like the standards they've been setting this season. They'll look to pick up the second half where they left off in the first as they try to sort out this 1-goal deficit. Half-time in Paisley, St Mirren 0, Hibs 1.
On digital radio.
Online at BBC Sports Scotland.
Or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker or BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound.
Scottish football lives here.
What a goal!
All new this autumn on BBC iPlayer.
Are you even listening? This is important.
Feel the heat in boiling point.
Go out there and smash it. Calm down!
No, I'm not going to calm down. I've had enough.
Catch up with old friends in Ghosts.
Yes!
Well done, Robin. You just wooed 170-year-old woman.
Excuse me?
And make room for Sort Your Life Out.
Shall we see what we're dealing with?
A mouse.
How am I expected to paint in these conditions?
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
So half-time here in Paisley, St Mirren 0, Hibs 1. Josh Campbell on 12 minutes with a really cool finish into the bottom corner. So unlike St Mirren in this first half, really not at it. Stephen Thompson, you can see the frustrations of the manager down there below. They got better as the half wore on. Some great delivery from Tanz on the left-hand side, but no end product.
No, I mean, the amount of crosses he got in the last 10 minutes is remarkable in itself, but it's all been down that left-hand side. They've not really managed to get McMenamin and strain down this right-hand side. I can't think of only maybe one delivery from the right-hand side. Yeah, I mean, I thought they started awfully poorly, awfully sluggishly. Hibs, you have to give credit to. You know, we talked before the game about how they were going to react to the disappointment of the weekend in the cup tie, and they started really brightly. I think St Mirren sat off them a wee bit too much, allowed them too much time on the ball. They were dictating play without really causing too many problems. And then, of course, you know, the Gogic mistake, uncharacteristic, yes, but not a mistake that you should be making. Far too slack, and it was well finished by Campbell, you have to say. After that, I felt as though St Mirren again were kind of struggling to make inroads in the game. Hibernian had a couple of half chances. They had, as Rob's called it, that stramash. So it took St Mirren a good 35 minutes to wake up, if you like, and when they did, they looked the better side. But you know, they're already a goal down at this stage. I'm pretty sure that Stephen Robinson in the St Mirren changing room will be demanding that they start the second half in the same manner that they finished the first. But even then, I can't think of anything that's troubled David Marshall too much. Yes, they're getting good deliveries in, but nothing on the end of it.
No, Amandaron has offered very little up top. Michael, you spoke before the game about the importance of Josh Campbell. A really nice finish from him. Talk to us about the shape of this Hibs side tonight. Why is it working in the first half?
I think they've just played particularly well. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I don't think that it's massively different from the way they've played before with two out-and-out strikers, because Josh Campbell's played very, very high for most of it, but on occasions he has been back in the midfield and helped out with just being an extra body in there. But I think overall performance from Hibs has been very good. They've kept the ball well. They've worked into some dangerous areas. But no, in terms of Josh Campbell, he is naturally a midfielder who's going to, you know, move forward from midfield to getting support of the striker, rather than the reverse of a striker who's trying to drop back in and help out. But having said all that, for the vast majority of the game, he has played almost like an out-and-out striker up in the final line with Dylan Vente and the two white boys is in there as well. I'm still just trying to come to terms with
explain what's happening.
No, I'm not.
On digital radio.
Online at BBC Sports Scotland.
Or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker or BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound.
Scottish football lives here.
What a goal!
All new this autumn on BBC iPlayer.
Are you even listening? This is important.
Feel the heat in boiling point.
Go out there and smash it. Calm down!
No, I'm not going to calm down. I've had enough.
Catch up with old friends in Ghosts.
Yes!
Well done, Robin. You just wooed 170-year-old woman.
Excuse me?
And make room for Sort Your Life Out.
Shall we see what we're dealing with?
A mouse.
How am I expected to paint in these conditions?
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Apologies for losing you there. I should explain what happened. A couple of youngsters come up to get some strips signed by Stephen Thompson there, and one of them kicked the line down below us here and put us off air, Michael. Just when you're in the middle of saying something really interesting.
Well, it was doing us all a favour.
Right, I tell you, let's hear something interesting now. Our pitch-side reporter, Brian McLaughlin, has been joined by the St Mirren Chief Executive, Keith Lasley.
I have to say it's going to be Keith that's talking about some interesting topics. Yeah, Keith, first of all, what do you make of that 45 minutes? Your team didn't turn up for 40 of those, did they?
Yeah, I think sluggish. I think it's not like us, I've got to say that. I think at home here we've been decent, since the start of the season. But listen, half time, still plenty of time to go, and I think, as you say, that last 5 minutes, it's with a bit more energy, a bit more threat in that final third. So let's hopefully we can keep that going.
It's pretty evident, the improvements on the pitch, but tell us about what's happening outside of the pitch and behind the scenes here at St Mirren, because there have been improvements there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's part of my job. I've been in for 18 months now, and obviously a huge part of it's the football and trying to provide the best team that we can on the pitch. But as Fan-owned football club, we've got a big part to play in the community. We launched a club strategy, last couple of weeks, and we think it's we've got a part to play in this community. Be that through a schools programme, be that outreach work into the community, different charities, etc. We are really just, the strategy document is there to try and join all of that up, the football side of it and the community side of it, and hopefully moving forward it can really magnify and help us grow at the stuff that we are doing.
It's fan owned but not fan run. Yourself and the board run the club, but the fact that the fans are involved in the community as well, how does that help you on a day-to-day basis try to get more people involved in what's happening in St Mirren?
Yeah, it's how we grow, Brian. We need to connect into that community to get our next generation of supporter as well into this stadium and provide a match day experience that's a family welcoming that people want to come to, and that's why we are, as I say, so involved with local primary schools, etc., and our community work, as I said. But it's who we are. I think it's really defining who we are on the pitch and who we are off the pitch, and having a clear identity in both of those things. And I said, hopefully that's what the strategy document does. A lot of hard work's got to go alongside that. We've got to deliver it and make sure we're hitting our kind of benchmarks. It's not something that just sits on a shelf, but it's not going to be that as long as I'm here. I'm going to try and do what I can to try and push this club forward on all fronts.
Women's football has been a huge growth in that in the last couple of years. Now, Sunday they're playing here again at the Smizer Stadium. How important is that the ladies team also get an opportunity to play here and see that game grow? Well,
it's absolutely vital. When I say I'm connecting into the community, that doesn't mean just boys. That's girls, that's families, that's everybody. And the girls in women's football is going through a growth phase through the whole country, which is fantastic to see at grassroots level. You see with the Premier League and the direction that's going in. So it's absolutely fantastic. And what we are trying to do is trying to grow the women's side of our club at a pace that's achievable. But we're doing all that we can to try and integrate and as I say, facilitate the growth on that side of the club as well.
You've been on the pitch as a player. You've been in the dugout as assistant manager to Stephen Robinson. Now you're Chief Operations Officer here at St Mirren, and you're Stephen Robinson's boss, so who makes the tea?
I know, I might go in and change the formation, I'm not sure, I'll see, but no, listen, it's a different relationship in terms of our working relationship, but I think it's one that still there's a mutual respect there, and I think that's really important. And it's been good, I've got to say. I know when to leave him for 5 minutes when he's having a wee moment, and then I know when I maybe step in and say my piece. So I think the relationship's good, and I think we just can't get enough good people at this football club, and Stephen's doing doing a fantastic job in the football side of it, and hopefully he's here for a long time to come.
Doing the job you do now, though, has it helped you being on the other side, being a player, being in the dugout?
Absolutely. You have an understanding, particularly on the football side, in terms of the academy and what that takes to maybe bring you through your own players, what that pathway looks like, first team in terms of recruitment, and how that looks here on a match day and how we're playing, and giving little bits of advice. But my job's to look after the whole club, and well, it's good on that side of it. I make no mistake, I'm still learning certain aspects of it as you go. But I'm hungry to learn, and I want to try and do as good a job as I can on this side of it, because that's where I see my future now.
Did Stephen ever ask you for advice in the football matter?
Really, I don't know. When he walks by here in a minute, he might. But yeah.
What advice would you give him then at half time if he was asking you?
Oh no, I don't want to go there in case he listens to this, to be honest with you. We'll see how the second half goes, but no, listen, as I said, I'm confident whatever's getting said in there will be the right thing, and let's see how the second half goes.
You must be really pleased though. I mean, we look here tonight, a big crowd, a lot of kids here tonight. It was the reason we went off air was a couple of kids pulled out the plug. They were trying to get an autograph from Stephen Thompson, but that must please you as well when you see so many kids here tonight.
Yeah, it's the future of this club, Brian. It's as simple as that. We've got a fantastically loyal fan base, and we want to look after them, absolutely, but we also want to nurture that next generation, and that's what we're trying to do. It will not be easy, it'll be ups and downs along the way, but that's what we're trying to do, and I think as long as everybody internally knows that, and we let people know what we're trying to do, hopefully that gives us the best chance of achieving that.
Well, finally then, you maintain where you are in the moment in the league. You're going to be in Europe next year. You're already looking at schedules and trying to find planes to go to far off places.
Yeah, well, I once sang in the pitch at Millwall, I think a long time ago, if you remember, so I might be back on there with a microphone if we reach Europe, that's for sure. But listen, in all seriousness, we're just absolutely delighted to be, where we are and fighting at that end of the table. It's where we want to be, but we know how hard it is to be there. Listen, we're not setting any targets. We just keep going game by game, and let's see where that takes us.
Thanks, Keith. Well done.
Cheers, Brian. Cheers.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, Keith Lasley. We can speak from experience. Tom, my daughter, plays for the women's side. My boy's over there in the North Bank, and your boy's in the academy.
Oh, he is, and he's also over there watching the game as well. Yeah, on a freebie academy ticket, I might add. I mean, Keith is doing a fantastic job. He really is, and it's been great to see. He mentioned the crowd this evening and the crowd all season, and that's been coming off the back of the success of last season. More and more people are coming to watch the games. There was a lot less crowd here when I was playing. That was 7 years ago, but yeah, I mean, I think the club's in a really good place. What obviously helps all of that is the fact that the first team are doing well, and when there's success from the first team on the pitch, then everybody kind of buys into it, don't they? But it is a fantastic community club. They do a lot of work in the community, and Keith's a big part of that. The academy's great. My boy Struan's in it, and they've got a lot of really, really good young players. They've got great staff. Alan McManus heads up the academy. And they've got a lot of really good coaches in there as well. So the future looks very bright for St Mirren, just if they can get their finger out in this second half.
It's good to see that the club have recovered after Tom got them relegated.
I could see him sitting there with a smile on his face. I was wondering what it was.
It's only taken them 7 years, but now they're back.
Yeah, big job for St Mirren to do in the second half here. They are out. We await Hibs. A great first half, and then a really nice finish from Josh Campbell on 12 minutes has them ahead here. We'll see if things change in the second half. We'll see if there are any changes to be made by either manager. Let's then get back to our commentary team this evening. Stephen Thompson, Michael Stewart and Rob McLean.
Thank you, Kenny. Into the second half we go. Well, we will do shortly when Stephen McLean reappears. And that Josh Campbell goal, the only one, despite Hibs' best efforts. But what will encourage St Mirren, of course, is the last few minutes of the first half when they looked a bit more like themselves, and suddenly Hibs looked a bit uncertain at the back. So will that be a trend that continues as the game resumes, or can Hibs start the second half the way they started the first, looking pretty calm and confident and controlled, and the balance of the side showing no great harm for the introduction of Campbell. Martin Boyle is on the bench, of course, and we may well see him before tonight is finished. And Keanu Bacchus is back on the bench for St Mirren as well, and he could get involved, Tomo, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a fantastic midfield player. Boyd Munce has been doing well recently. He's been kind of in and out this side. Keanu Bacchus, a couple of injury problems, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see Alex Grieve and Olayusana, maybe Bacchus as well, coming on in this second half as St Mirren push to try and get back in it.
St Mirren get it started in the second half, and Paisley looking to come back from a goal down. Long ball causes problems for Rocky Bashiri. It shouldn't have done, and Hibs had to hurriedly get rid of it. O'Hara to Tanzer, who was all over the first half, and here he goes again, making progress down the left-hand side. Kilty's cross into the box, headed away by Fish, not the best, and on the follow-up, getting a good crack in on goal.
Marcus Fraser.
Was Marcus? I was trying to work out. Is that definitely Marcus Fraser getting the ball down and then volleying just wide?
Yeah, very, very good strike. And likewise, you're thinking, that looks like Marcus Fraser. He's jogging back to centre. Yeah, that is him.
That was very much nosebleed territory for the St Mirren defender. Kilty intercepting a poor pass out from Hibs, and Hibs look as if they might just be picking up where they left off, where they were pretty poor at the end of the first half. They've given it away there very cheaply, and but for a better cross ball in from the right side, Hibs could have been in a bit of bother. They need to settle.
Well, that's what they can be guilty of at times, is giving away cheap possession and unforced errors. And there's two in the space of about 20 seconds there. Now, St Mirren are clearly been sent back out of the park with a bit of a rollicking, and they need to keep their tempo high and on the front foot. That's what they're doing. And when Hibs continue to gift possession away, then they're going to be asking themselves to, to be punished, because St Mirren, I can't see them performing like they did in that first half for the majority. They are going to be a lot more aggressive. Hibs have got to be better in possession.
And they were better in possession there for the last 30 seconds, but it all ended with Joe Newell playing a pretty aimless ball forward, and it went behind for a goal kick. First time Hibs have got themselves forward since the restart. A Gogic back pass and a Hemming clearance into the Paisley night sky. Mandron tries to get on the end of it. Looked like a high boot from Levitt. Play goes on. Tanzer in possession, left-hand side, right on the touchline. Jinks his way infield. Boyd Munce looks to switch it across to McMenamin on the other side. Fraser back to Gogic in the centre circle. 1-0 Hibs. Josh Campbell's fourth goal of the campaign. Taylor fires it into the feet of Tanzer. Forward it goes from Tanzer, but Whittaker gets his body in the way and escorts the ball behind for a goal kick. He's looked pretty solid, Michael, so far, Roddy Whittaker.
He has. He's acquitted himself very well at right back. Just good defensive awareness there as well. He wasn't afraid to shield that out. He didn't panic as if he was trying to clear his lines. He just getting his body in, and for somebody as young as that, sometimes you would expect them to shy away from the physicality, but he certainly didn't.
And another 16-year-old on the bench for Hibs in Josh Landers. Here come the Easter Road team with Newell getting the ball back from Ewan and then dinking one forward for Venta to chase. Mistake by Gogic as it goes back towards his goalkeeper. Great save, Zach Hemming, who bails out Gogic from another big blunder. Again, it was Josh Campbell nipping in on a faulty back pass, and the goalkeeper did so well to dive down and get his glove to it.
What is he doing? I mean, it's incredible that one of them is
motorbike again.
No, that one wasn't the motorbike. I don't know. It's just really short with the pass back. He doesn't even look to check the run of Campbell. Tries to round Zach Hemming, and it's a fantastic save. You're thinking if it's a bit wider, is he going to go down for a penalty? Then it's a tap in, and Hemming was down really quickly to thwart him. But another horrendous mistake there from Gogic.
Corner kick, St Mirren, left-hand side. Ryan Strain whips it in. Oh, it's a really good delivery, and it took a bit of defending. I think it was Rocky Bashiri who threw himself down there. Not sure if a free kick has been given. It was certainly a great delivery in.
Well, St Mirren have started the second half much more aggressively than the first, but all of that would have been undone very quickly had Josh Campbell rounded Hemming and put the ball in the back of the net. Alex Gogic was under a little bit of pressure. He wasn't able to get enough on the ball back to the goalkeeper. A little bit of panic setting in as well, and the goalkeeper's bailed him out.
It's a great double save, isn't it? Because he gets a glove to it to stops Campbell getting round him, and then he dives on the loose ball. Meantime, there's a VAR check going on the back of that
possible penalty
scramble on the end of the Strain corner kick, so
it was difficult to see. I mean, the ball comes in, there's about 3 bodies fall to the ground. We're obviously kind of a good 50-60 yards away from it, so it was hard to see exactly what happened. Stephen McLean taking his time, holding his ear.
I think, Brian, we're talking about something off the ball, are we?
Yeah, it wasn't at the near post. I think there was possibly something at the back post. Jordan Obita just watching. I'm just having a look at a replay now. For me, that's a definite penalty.
Oh, he's coming at the monitor.
Yeah, well, I think you're right, Brian, because Stephen McLean's going to have a look here, and that generally means that the decision is going to be turned around.
Yeah, I think Richard Taylor's just said to him there that his shirt was being pulled, so I can only presume Obita was pulling Richard Taylor's shirt in the box.
What an opportunity this could be for St Mirren to level things up within a matter of minutes at the start of the second half. Brian, you've had a good look now.
Yeah, it was certainly, Jordan Obita has certainly grabbed the shirt of Taylor. It's at the back post, it's nowhere near the front post. And yeah, I think Stephen McLean will point to the spot when he looks at this. Completely off the ball.
See, the thing is here, obviously, we don't have this is a little bit different for us. We have no monitors. So we're almost a little bit like the punters and the fans.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's going on.
We know nothing.
Yeah. It's not a good
well, there's the sign.
Experience.
There's the gesture from the referee which says penalty kick. St Mirren and the chance to make this 1-1.
Well, I say it's not a good experience, obviously, for the St Mirren fans. They're absolutely delighted, but in general, when you don't know what's going on, there's an element of just completely in the dark.
Yellow card for Jordan Obita as well. It's going to be Mark O'Hara, the St Mirren captain, who will take this, and he's got a pretty good record. I'm not wanting to jinx him, Tomo, but he's got a pretty good record, hasn't he, from the spot?
Yeah, he does. He does, and this is where VAR works, because nobody would have any idea, whether it's the linesman, the referee, that was a penalty kick.
You've not seen it, so how do you know?
They have.
He can tell from 100 yards away. This could be a big turning point on the night in Paisley. It's Mark O'Hara from the penalty spot, and he scores brilliantly. Goalkeeper David Marshall flung himself to his left. The ball was fired down the other side, and the Paisley team have levelled this up. It's Mark O'Hara's 4th goal of the season. It's 1-1.
Yeah, it's a really good penalty, very composed. He shapes as though he's going to go to David Marshall's left. Marsh buys the dummy, if you like, and then just closes his foot over it and reverses it the opposite side from David Marshall. And St Mirren have started this second half by far and away the better side, putting Hibernian under pressure, playing at a tempo that the Paisley crowd, you can hear behind you, have been used to seeing here in all of the home games.
So you'd imagine the momentum is now with St Mirren. They did what we were talking about. They opened up second half the way they'd closed first half, and they've got their reward. VAR picking up that shirt tug by Jordan Obita, who was booked on Richard Taylor, and there was really never much doubt about the penalty conversion from the St Mirren skipper. It's 1-1.
He looks so confident when he steps up to take the penalty kicks. It was a really nice finish. But there's a minute where the game's just turned on its head, because Josh Campbell could have been rounding Zach Hemming and making it 2-0 up the other end, penalty kick, and now 1-1 with St Mirren well and truly in the ascendancy.
Just a mistake, a misplaced passes. St Mirren worked the ball down the left-hand side. Kilty played the ball out off Tanzer. It was an awkward pass behind the wing-back, but St Mirren are considerably lifted last few minutes first half, and then getting the penalty equaliser early second half. And this is a test of character now for Hibs, who've had a lot of possession and a lot of control in the first half, chances too, in addition to the Josh Campbell goal. Now they find themselves having to do it all over again. We're 10 minutes into the second half in Paisley, and Josh Campbell's goal cancelled out by the Mark O'Hara penalty for each of them. Number four goal of the season. And here comes St Mirren again. The ball is threaded by Boyd Muntz down the left-hand side. Kilty looking lively. O'Hara looked to play it out wide for Tanser. Referee Stephen McLean in the way. Got there eventually, whipped into the box. St Mirren threatening again. The ball clipped towards the back post area, and it was beyond Mandron, bouncing behind for the goal kick.
Yeah, it just comes to Mark O'Hara after the kind of poor clearance at the edge of the box. All right, the angle's not great, but he took a touch and it really opened up. We're right behind it with our view. Could have curled it, tried for the top corner, but it goes for the stand up to the back post for Mandron.
I'm surprised he didn't have a shot.
Yeah.
Got to say, Eli Yuan's attempt at getting back in and defending was pretty pitiful. You know, he's on the edge of the box. Mark O'Hara doesn't do a great deal to get in front of him, and then he just stood and watched him.
Don't think defending's a strong suit.
Free kick for a foul on Jair Tavares, as Hibs look to settle themselves, having lost their lead, a team who haven't won in their last 6.
Are you laughing at Stephen Robinson?
Stephen Robinson, honestly,
so animated.
You could just stick a camera on him for 90 minutes and watch him. It'd be great entertainment, I tell you.
Gogic with a back pass, and he puts a bit more on it this time, and he gets it through to Hemming. His mistake went unpunished. That big moment in the second half as well. The ball down the right for Hibs, Venta chasing, and his cross is blocked. Good work from Tanser, and the ball ends up going behind for a free kick, a goal kick I should say, for St Mirren. 57 minutes, 1-1.
It just came off the back of Venti's head. Tanser does well to get the block in, and then it looks as though it's going to go out for a corner and just catches the back of Venti's head before crossing the line.
Yeah, Nick Montgomery looks static in comparison to his opposite number, because he's bouncing around and so animated. Stephen Robinson, and one of the reasons he's bouncing around is his team are very much back at it now.
The gymnast would look pretty static in comparison to Stephen Robinson.
Yeah. But just thinking that that Gogic, that second Gogic mistake, which went unpunished, had Hibs gone 2 in front, we might well be talking about a different game.
Yeah, it's a long way back if you go 2-0 down, and you know, we said it was uncharacteristic of Gogic to have won in the first half. Very nearly sold the jerseys for a second time.
The thing is as well, you know, at the start of the second half, when St Mirren ended the first half brightly, started the second well, if there were to be sucker punched with another mistake like that and end up 2-0, mentally it's a tough one to come back from.
St Mirren launched the ball forward. Rocky Bashiri gets it back from Joe Newell. Levitt in the midfield to Eli Yuan in the middle of the pitch with Whittaker on the overlap. Rory Whittaker clips it into the near post behind Venta, cleared by Gogic. Josh Campbell is trying to get in there as well. Hibs have it again with Levitt right hand side this time, and Yuan takes it from him and clips a square pass to Bushiri. Then Obita down the line, Jair Tavares ahead of him, looks to hold off the challenge of Fraser, turns inside, then heads back from whence he'd come. Hibs keeping the ball, but looking to create something here, having led and then seen themselves pegged back. Good work from Yuan. Now he's direct, heading towards the edge of the area, and his shot looked as if it might have clipped the outside of the post, and Hemming possibly got a touch on it as well.
I just thought, yeah, great save from Zach Hemming. He's down low, wonderful twist and turn and move there from Eli Yuan, and the strike's going in the bottom corner, if not for the hand of Zach Hemming. Really, really good save there.
Down to his right hand side to Denai Yuan, who flashed one wide in the first half, and he was on target there. Good goalkeeping as Hibs respond to a positive start to the second half from St Mirren. Corner kick Hibs, left hand side, they take it short. Levitt tries to get the ball in the box, took a deflection, Mandron heads it further clear. Towering onto it is Newell, down the right hand side for Hibs, and he's caught late, and that will be a free kick for Hibs. It's also a yellow card
It's a yellow card all day long. It was brilliant play, it really was, from Joe Newell picking the ball up. He was forced out wide. Richard Taylor's all over him. He takes a touch past him. Taylor thinks he can get there. He can't. Completely wipes him out, and this is a really good situation for Hibernian to put a dangerous ball into the box. It's going to be Newell that takes it.
Yeah, it's just about 5 yards from the corner flag on the right-hand side, so ideal for the left foot of Joe Newell to try to arrow this in and give Hibs the chance to get themselves in front again. Past the hour mark, 61 minutes, 1-1. Radio Scotland in Paisley. Newell with the free kick towards the back post, punched away by Hemming, and the clearance is completed by McMenamin. In goes Obita to win an important header, 1-against-1 against Strain. Hibs have it with Jair Tavares, left hand side, back towards Levitt. Newell shouting for it in the middle of the pitch. Looks to angle one back towards Jair Tavares, and doesn't stick. But it is kept in until the offside flag goes up against Rocky Bashiri. A couple of subs on the way, Bright.
Yeah, a couple for St Mirren. Michael Mandron's game is over, as is Caelan Boyd-Munce. The players coming on will be Kiana Bakus and Olusoyu Olusanya.
Double change for St. Sure appreciated for 2 weeks.
Yeah, Mandron's had a kind of quiet evening. Obviously get 2 in his last game here, but he's not managed to look a threat this evening. Olusanya's pace will certainly cause Hibernian problems. Boyd-Munce coming off. I mean, Boyd-Munce has looked tidy at times. He's really good on the ball. He's got a wonderful switch of play on him. I think he just took a knock a couple of moments ago as well, but Bacchus on. 2 good substitutes to bring on for St Mirren. Bacchus will bring a lot of energy, and Olusanya will carry that threat in behind. I've watched him a few times, and he is so quick, but when he gets there, sometimes his brain's still going the same speed as his legs are. He doesn't have the composure.
Nicely poised, 63 minutes in. St Mirren 1, Hibs 1. That double switch for St Mirren, Olusanya and Bacchus. And a free kick for Hibs midway inside their own half. Fish to Whittaker, given away by the youngster. Not too many mistakes on his behalf tonight, but that was one. A throw in for Hibs just underneath us. Hibs with the 11 who started the match. From Whittaker to Yuan and back. Little pass inside for Levitt, and he gets it away to Obita, crossing the halfway line. Wide is Jair Tavares, jinking his way in. Now he heads for the byline. Can he deliver? Fired in low, cleared by Richard Taylor, with Venta trying to get on the end of that cut back. It was good play from Jair Tavares, and now the response from St Mirren and Olusanya, full of running up front. It's gone behind for the goal kick. Marshall, Fish, and then Whittaker. Back goes Greg Kiltie, snapping at the heels of the youngster. Gets his pass away again for Levitt. And crossfield to Obita. Back it goes to Rocky Bashiri. St Mirren swarming around, looking to win it back. Obita under pressure, and all he can do is fight it back to Marshall. David Marshall launches it up, looking for the head of Eli Yuan. Flicked on, but nobody in behind to benefit. Time for Taylor. Back it goes for Hemming. Zach Hemming pulling off a couple of really important saves tonight for St Mirren. When you think about that, the save at the base of the post from Yuan, and that double save when he managed to bail out Gogic, who'd already made a big mistake in the match. 1-1, and the ball with O'Hara, who equalised for St Mirren. He fires it down the line, but it slips out of play before Olusanya could get there. And it's a throw-in for Hibs. Where's this match going to go from here, Tomo? Can you say anything with great confidence?
Well, I mean, the kind of really bright start that St Mirren had to the second half's kind of drained a wee bit. You're thinking maybe the substitutes are going to have an impact for St Mirren. Hibernian, the game's just getting a wee bit more stretched, certainly, than it was in the first half.
I think Hibs have reacted quite well to being pegged back 1-1. They've not folded. The game's very much in the balance. It would be difficult to predict either side going on and getting 3 points, but Hibs have just settled themselves again after getting pegged back to 1-1.
And St Mirren win themselves a corner kick, goes behind off of Bita. Corner kick out on the right hand side. Brian, a change for Hibs.
Yeah, Hibs substitution. Young 16-year-old Rory Whittaker, his night is over, coming on. The player he replaced tonight, Lewis Miller.
Yeah, Lewis Miller just emerging from the dugout. Looks as if he was staying in there as long as possible on a nippy night in Paisley. But into the action he comes. And Rory Whittaker hasn't done himself any harm with his first start tonight for Hibs. Getting a good reaction from the fans and applauding them back.
Yeah, he should be happy with his performance, certainly for such a young guy. I think, you know, coming to Paisley, playing against St Mirren, difficult opponents, I think he should be pretty pleased he's acquitted himself well.
So can St Mirren get some joy from this corner kick? Cluster of players around the penalty spot and a couple close in. Tanzer whips it in at the near post. Hibs get it clear. St Mirren look to get the ball back into the danger zone. Good work from McMenamin. His cross flicked away, and the long-range shot in the end is pretty much straight at David Marshall.
McMenamin did really well. He's had a quieter evening tonight, but he does so well to find some space in the byline. Does the hard bit, then the cross isn't that good. It comes out to Tanzer, 25 yards out, and he tries an audacious volley. Gets it on target right enough, but straight at David Marshall without any real pace on it.
Yeah, it was his right foot, wasn't it? I think if it had been on his left, it might have been a bit more troublesome for the goalkeeper. Will Fish to Lewis Miller now at right back for Hibs. Fired inside, lovely take and turn, and now he's away. Eli Yuan, he threads it through for Dylan Venta, heading for the byline, turns it back, and Hibs are back in front here.
It's a great goal, but I'm just, obviously he'll be getting checked. I think Venta is very tight on the through ball, but great play from Hibs. Wonderful turn from Yuhan to start it. The slide rule pass for Ventu running in behind, and just when you thought he was going to play it, he took an extra touch right to the byline, almost across the face, and there was two of them at the back post lining up, waiting to put it in the back of the net. I think it was Joe Newell in the end that scored it, but wonderful goal there from Hibs.
Yeah, Richard Taylor's far too keen to try and win the ball when it goes into Eli Yuan's feet. It gets spun so easily. He takes off. It's good movement from Venta to go down the outside. The pass to him was lovely, weighted, and you're right, he takes that extra touch, which kind of, you're thinking he's going to flash it. It catches St Mirren unawares right across the face, and Joe Newell couldn't miss. Doesn't look like there's going to be a check, or maybe they've already checked it.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't as tight as I thought, but
it's just holding on.
Finger in the ear for Stephen McLean, so VAR is having a look at this now.
Yeah,
I think they just wait for all the celebrations to go the full distance, and then.
Yeah, aye. Well, I mean, look, it was tight, but this is now my view. Is this what we want in football, where offside is a definitive yes or no? But do we really want to be chalking off so many goals for what are, you know, marginal inches at times?
Depends if it's against St Mirren or not, of course.
Brian, have you had a look?
Yes, I have, Rob, and I know it was tight on Saturday against Aberdeen. I think this one is a bit more clear-cut, and I think this goal will be given.
Yeah. Goal given, and Hibs back in front.
Really good goal from Hibs, and as I said just a couple of minutes ago, they reacted well to getting pegged back to 1-1. They didn't panic. They got themselves back with a foothold in the game, they spreading it side to side and keeping possession. Yeah, I mean, overall, Nick Montgomery will be happy with this performance from Hibs. If they're able to see it through and get 3 points, he'll be absolutely over the moon.
Brilliant again from Eli Yuan. He is on fire at the moment, and here he goes again, powering down the right-hand side. Hibs number 7 clips it back for Campbell. His cross is blocked by Taylor, and the ball goes out for a Hibs throw. And I was just going to mention that the part of Yuan in the goal, just the way he took the ball in, let it run across his body, the turn, the pace to get away, then the ball slipped down the side for Venta, and he rolled it across goal for Joe Newell to score. But when Eli Yuan does that sort of stuff, he's pretty hot to handle, Michael.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It's made a big difference. You know, a moment like that opens the game up and Hibs score from it. Obviously, the big thing is Hibs want to see more of that and less of the, you know, really poor decision making that can happen at times.
St Mirren have a free kick just inside the Hibs half as they look to come back again. Josh Campbell scored the opening goal. Mark O'Hara's penalty levelled it up, and now Joe Newell with a tap in, his 3rd goal of the season, has Hibs back in front, and hoping they can go up a couple of places in the Premiership placings by the time we finish tonight. But St Mirren will have other ideas. Strain with the free kick, and now McMenamin coming in off the right-hand side, clips it back post, and St Mirren were throwing plenty in, including Richard Taylor trying to get on the end of that. Looks like it's gone behind for the goal kick, and I think Joe Newell is part of that defensive operation as well to stop that squeezing in.
It was a delicious ball, and it really was, from the left foot of Ryan Strain to the back post. Really hard to defend. Again, bodies throwing themselves at it. St Mirren claiming coming off a Hibs player last, but I think it was Richard Taylor who got the final touch and goes behind. St Mirren haven't asked enough questions from open play. Again, that comes from a set play situation. From open play, David Marshall has not been worked enough from St Mirren. That's been a big problem for them this evening.
Ryan Strain on the ball, and he has Campbell for company, breathing down his neck. Now he's on to Gogic as the ball is shifted around by St Mirren. They work it down the left-hand side for Tanzer to try to get the cross in. Lewis Miller blocks it. It's gone out for a throw-in close to the corner flag. St Mirren try again to get themselves in behind. Yuan is back, helping out with the defensive effort, and the ball goes out for a Hibs throw-in. St Mirren 1, Hibs 2, 74 minutes on the clock. It's going to be the Australian Miller with the throw-in, helped on by Campbell to Venta, who lofts it across, and Jair Tavares takes a lovely couple of touches to get control of it. When he played it in behind, Josh Campbell was offside, but again, really good play under pressure from Jair Tavares for Hibs. Hemming thumps the ball forward for St Mirren. Out for a throw in left-hand side, Tanzer flings it back towards Taylor. O'Hara for Gogic, and alongside him on the halfway line is Marcus Fraser, driving forward with the ball. Ryan Strain to Conor McMenamin, his left foot angling the ball into the box, headed away by Fish. Tavares is there to roll it back, and Obita clears for Hibs up to halfway. A shout from Gogic, down goes Campbell off the ball. No free kick. St Mirren work it forward to Olasanya, collects it well out on the right hand side, linking with Strain. Back it goes as St Mirren look to create something from the right hand side. Hibs get it clear for the moment. St Mirren chasing an equaliser for the second time in the game. O'Hara in the middle of the pitch, works it wide to Scott Tanser. Always room for the cross, floated back post, and that allowed David Marshall to come for it and grab possession, and he did like the challenge, the Hibs goalkeeper. And there's a cluster of players with the referee right in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's Conor McMenamin. He was never going to win the ball. It's a big floaty cross from Scott Tanser. David Marshall comes out and catches it. I don't think it was an elbow. I think it was more of a kind of flailing arm, but McMenamin booked.
And a couple of changes coming, Brian, for St Mirren.
Yeah, 2 changes coming. Conor McMenamin and Greg Kiltie are going to be replaced. The players coming on out is Grieve, who's already had an impact off the bench on a couple of occasions this season. He's coming on, as is Lewis Jameson, who Stephen Robinson told us before the match just how well this young lad had been doing in training. Well, the Saints fans are about to find out exactly what he's all about.
Do you like him, Tomo?
Yeah, I mean, he's been out on loan, I think Clyde and was it Inverness. But yeah, I mean, I've obviously not seen a lot of him in a St Mirren jersey, but it's an opportunity for him this evening. I think Conor McMenamin's not at his best evening, so he'll go out to that right-hand side and see if he can provide a bit of quality for St Mirren. They've lacked in the final third this evening.
On comes the 21-year-old then on the right side of the attack, and Alex Grieve to the left of Olusanya, and certainly Grieve does have the goals touch about him, and St Mirren hope that he can strike tonight as they look to get at least something out of this game. Slipping was David Marshall as he cleared from that free kick, and as you heard, that went down well with the St Mirren fans. Out for a throw-in on the halfway line. Strain takes it, Olusanya lays it off. Bacchus to Taylor, and across to the left for Tanser, who's had plenty touches on the ball. First touch for Alex Grieve, and then he's clattered into by Miller. No real need to make that challenge. He's handed St Mirren a free kick.
Yeah, he was facing away from goal was Alex Grieve. I actually do think he gets the ball, but he comes through Alex Grieve before he gets there. St Mirren will launch this into the box. They have looked their most dangerous from set plays tonight.
Free kick, left-hand side, swinging into the box. Newell got his head to it. The man whose goal at the moment makes the difference in this game. A tap-in for the Hibs captain as his team 2-1 in front. A couple of throw-ins on the far side, the right-hand side for St Mirren. Back it goes to Gogic. Square of him is Taylor, and he fires it out wide left. In comes the cross ball. It's a really good cross ball as well, and it was just begging for the finishing touch as it flew through the 6-yard box.
He's got to get something on that. He really does, Olusanya. I think he's injured himself in the process, but the quality of the ball in was absolutely phenomenal. He looks as though he's there. Just either misses it, or unless it's a bit deceptive from this angle. Looked to me though, he should have been making contact with the ball.
I think the only way he made hit the target there was colliding with the post, Tomo. He actually, I think his momentum took him into the upright as he was trying to get on the end of that teasing ball in. Great delivery. Hibs launch it down the pitch. Fraser heads it away. A header bulleted back towards Marcus Fraser, which he probably didn't fancy too much. And Hibs roll the ball out wide for Jair Tavares. On the byline, tries to turn it back. He's done really well to nick that back to around the penalty spot, and no takers for Hibs. It was a great little cut back that he managed to manufacture. And if Hibs can't score again, there might be no way back for St Mirren as we edge our way into the last 10 minutes.
They haven't looked like scoring all night, you know, as much as they put some really decent deliveries into the box. You've never felt as though they were going to score a goal, and there's been no real moments of quality in the final third, no kind of passes through or incisive passes or shots on goal. It's been fairly fairly tepid from St Mirren.
I mean, they started they finished the first half well and started the second half well as well. They got themselves level, but they've failed to kick on. It definitely is. They've taken the foot off a little bit, and credit to Hibs. When the game went 1-1, they were the side that started to gain a little bit of control in the game again, and now they're 2-1 up.
Alex Grieve bustling his way through, and he hooks a shot across goal, and you just felt that was going to creep inside the post. It's gone narrowly wide. We talked about him having the goal touch. Well, he very nearly produced there.
That was so good, that from Alex Grieve. Out of nothing, really, he's managed to bustle his way through and fashion an angle to get the shot away. And I mean,
it's inches.
Aye, I mean, I thought it was going to creep in itself, and if that wasn't, I was just expecting somebody else to bundle it across the line. So close for St Mirren.
He did really well to keep his balance, and the angle's virtually impossible, but he somehow gets a shot away and it just trickles past that far post.
He does have that knack, doesn't he, of finding a goal, and quite a few of them have come late on in games as well. Hibs are going to respond, Brian, with a couple of changes here.
Dylan Levitt, his game is over, as is Dylan Vente is over. The two players coming on, James Jago is coming on, and also the young 16-year-old Josh Landers, who made his debut, coming on in the semi-final at the weekend.
So if your name is Dylan, your game's over any moment now, as Vente comes off, and Josh Landers, another two 16-year-olds on the night. One's gone off earlier, another one's about to come on. Vente and Levitt coming off. Jimmy Jago will slot into the Hibs midfield. And is that a keep what we have move? Michael, Jago coming on?
Well, it's not so much that. I think you saw Levitt, I think he went down on the edge of the box with cramp or whatever, and there's tightness, and he's rolled his socks down as well. So I think he'd run his race, needed to change. Landers is not coming on just yet, but when you talk about Rory Whittaker and what a good size he is as a 16-year-old, Landers looks even bigger.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
James Jago getting his Sunday name. 83 minutes on the electronic clock in the corner of the ground. Hibs can see the finishing line at this stage, and they might be able to make life a bit easier for themselves as well, as the ball is given away very cheaply by Tanzer. Yuan flicks it on. Vente heading to the byline, tries to turn back, loses his footing. Gogic intercepting, and up goes an offside flag a good deal later than it could have gone up.
It's just the way now, isn't it? 5 seconds after the bit of play that was involved in, but great to see Landers when he does coming on. Really pleased that Nick Montgomery's giving young players an opportunity.
It's a good message, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It really is for the club, and it's brilliant for the other younger players that are in the Hibernian Academy to look and see that the pathway's there and they're getting the opportunities.
Yeah, this is, these are two 16-year-olds. It's not as if we're talking about 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds. This is proper young guys that are getting a chance here.
Great run by Joe Newell for Hibs, works the 1-2. Well, what a goal that would have been had he found the touch to finish 6 yards out. Really good play, forcing his way into the box and almost scoring again. Great feet from him as well out on the left-hand side. He's having a big say in the match at the moment.
I thought he could have struck it first time. You know that when he played the 1-2 and the ball came back to him, I thought it came back to him, at a good pace. It's on his left side, just wrap his left foot round it first time.
So here comes part two of that double switch, which didn't happen at the time. Josh Landers coming on, Brian.
Yeah, Josh Landers is coming on, Dylan Vente off. I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't use the two of them at the same time, because that's now used up, although it's only the third substitution, it's used up the 3 opportunities they have to make substitutions, and we've still got 6 minutes left, Rob, plus stoppage time. Then you would have thought, being 2-1 up, you'd have wanted to try and maybe keep a substitute for late on. There's 2 subs that could still have come on, but not any longer.
I see what you mean about Josh Landers. He's a lump of a lad, isn't he? They're producing them pretty big off the assembly line at the Hibs training ground. On comes Landers. Late on here in Paisley, We're inside the last 5 minutes. And Hibs 2-1 up here, and they'll go up 3 places in the Premiership if they can get maximum points here tonight. They'll go above Motherwell, Aberdeen and Dundee. Not quite above Hearts, but they will be level on points with the other half in Edinburgh if they can keep what they have, which is this 2-1 advantage in Paisley. And it's going to be a rare defeat for St Mirren, but there's time for them to produce late on. Strain rolls it forward. Jameson tries to get himself involved. Good challenge by Jego. The ball towards the corner flag on the far side. There's a real urgency about St Mirren, as there would be at this stage. 2-1 down. Corner kick for the home team on the right hand side. In it comes, low towards the near post. Hibs trying to hustle it clear, back into the box. Obita's headed away. Then it was Campbell, and Bacchus looks to switch it across to Grieve on the left hand side, and there's a collision involving Lewis Miller. Who was that for St Mirren? He's still down, whoever it was.
Richard Taylor, yeah. I mean, he's late into the challenge. It's a definite free kick, but he's come off worse. I think he lands slightly awkwardly. He's getting to his feet now, probably just winded. But yeah, it wasn't a great delivery in from Jameson to the near post. You know, you've got all those bodies in there. Give the ball a chance to get past the first man into an area where it can be attacked.
Time is ticking a little bit too quickly at the moment for St Mirren. 2.5 minutes left of the 90, and then it's all about stoppage time. Tanzer clears for the home team up towards Olasanya. In goes Fish, but he loses it. Forward goes Grieve. Sliding in was Jego. The ball played forward and headed away again by Miller. Forward it goes, and Landers chasing. He's held off by Taylor. The ball goes back to Hemming, and Zach Hemming fires one forward. Obita gets his head to it for Hibs. Flicked round the corner by Campbell for Jair Tavares on the far side. Hibs looking to get the ball up the pitch and keep the ball up the pitch, keep it out of harm's way, as St Mirren chase a second leveller on the night. Another player down, another slight delay, and we're 90 seconds left of the 90 minutes. What a reaction it would be to Cup semi-final disappointment for Nick Montgomery and Hibs if they can make a significant move up the table. There are going to be, at the moment, 5 minutes added to the 90. The ball is with Gogic, and he switches it across to Tanzer. Good control on the halfway line. He's off and running. Grieve in front of him. Back it goes for Taylor. Taylor fires it forward to Olasanya, left-hand side, heading for the byline. Twists back the way. Good feet from him. The ball is forced out in the end. St Mirren in a hurry with the throw. Taylor on his right foot swings in across. Headed away by Fish. On the halfway line, O'Hara for the home team, the captain. His penalty levelled it up earlier. Gogic angles one out to the left-hand side, taken on the run by Tanzer. Great ball in by Tanzer, and a towering header away by Bushiri. Yuan completes the clearance, but back comes St Mirren again, hungry for an equaliser. Bacchus in possession, but he's lost it, and now Landers on the break for Hibs. The youngster racing back is Gogic to get there first and turn the ball back towards Hemming. Inside stoppage time at the end of the 90 minutes in Paisley. A minimum of 5 to be played. That's how close Hibs are to their first win in 7 games. A lunging challenge by Lewis Miller. Close to halfway, had Stephen Robinson almost jumping on the pitch.
That's silly, naive, no need. He was never going to win it. I think it actually came off his arm, but I don't know why he was diving in. All he needs to do is get to the player as the pass is coming and just hold your position. Make it difficult for them. Sliding in like that, just, to be honest, if the player had got the ball, he was on his backside and he was out the game. In this case, he commits the foul and he gives St Mirren the chance to pump into the box.
And it comes from Jameson, header at the back post, keeps it alive, shot at goal, blocked, it was bang on the money. Jameson has a go, but St Mirren have plenty of players forward and now they could be caught out on the break, but Yuan loses the ball. And here come St Mirren again. It's Bacchus on the ball, squares it, shooting chance, it's a block, there's the finish, and St Mirren have surely rescued a point right at the death in Paisley. What a dramatic conclusion here, 2-2.
I mean, it comes from Ellie Yuan's mistakes. St Mirren had the opportunity. Previously it was blocked. Hibs win the ball back. Yuan looks as though he's going to counter, which would have been a good counter. Gives it away with a really cheap giveaway. St Mirren then counter again. There's a ricochet from the first shot from Jameson. It falls straight into his path. He hit the first with his left. It rolls to his right. Reverses it into the net past David Marshall. A good finish from the young player. But again, very avoidable from Hibs' point of view.
Really, really good finish from Jameson there. There's a strike with the left foot first of all, and then he sticks it in the back of the net where he's right. But you were just saying before, Rob, about what an impact Ellie Yuan had on the second Hibs goal. Was it a huge impact on the equalising goal? And that sums up Ellie Yuan there. You know, so often he does just things that you shake your head at. Hibs had a chance, they had an overload, and he's running forward with the ball, and he just completely, it's like he almost falls over it and gifts the ball back to St Mirren, who were committing players forward. St Mirren get the ball, they exploit the gaps, and 2-2. Got to be honest, I don't think the second half performance deserves that, but that is football for you, and you know that this St Mirren side never give up.
Well, they've levelled it up and St Mirren might not be finished. O'Hara plays the ball in, Jair Tavares is back there, and a wild attempt at goal from 25 yards out from Bacchus, well off target.
That's landed in Linwood. That shot.
That's local knowledge for you.
It's not that far away.
What a moment for Lewis Jameson, though.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Denied with his left foot, scored with his right. What a substitution for Stephen Robinson. And St Mirren might not be finished.
Well, no, I mean, still a few minutes left, but it's certainly St Mirren that are doing all the pushing now. Hibs will be kicking themselves. St Mirren, as I had mentioned, hadn't really created too much from open play. As much as they've probed, there was nothing clear cut, and they were gifted that by Ellie Yuan.
Well, you're right, because this is now St Mirren's game. They've got their tails up, they are pressing big time. But Gogic getting caught in the wrong position, giving away a free kick.
Yeah, it was Landers slipping away from him and pulled down by Alex Gogic, who gifts Hibs a late free kick and maybe a chance to create something here. I thought I was setting myself up pretty much when I said that this fixture guaranteed goals, and we did 11 in the 2 games so far. Well, make that 15 in 3, and that's an average, Tomo, of 5 per game.
I don't know whether it says more about the attackers or defenders. That
maybe a bit of both. Joe Newell with the free kick for Hibs, curled into the box. Gogic got his head to it, flicked away by Grieve. St Mirren looking to counter with Olasanya. Jair Tavares plays it back to Obita, slipping as he plays the ball forward. Bacchus in the way, flicked forward, and Olasanya tries to get there. And is there going to be one late twist of the tail? Well, there's a free kick. There are 3 bodies down on halfway, and there's a free kick coming up, and it might be the last action of the game.
Yeah, just a body check in the middle of the park. I don't know, maybe just want to launch this one into the box, get everybody up. Stephen McLean's going to put him in the book here. It's Josh Campbell.
No, he booked Joe Newell. It was Joe Newell that gave away the initial foul, and Joe Newell's been yellow carded.
So this free kick just a few yards inside the Hibs half. Well, this would be something else if St Mirren can get the 5th goal of the game right on time. Ryan Strain to take the free kick for St Mirren, 2 goals each. Towards the head of Taylor, fired inside, cleared, and there is the final whistle, and it's a share of the points for St Mirren and Hibs in Paisley, with that late equaliser from substitute Lewis Jameson, rescuing a point for St Mirren just as it looked as if Hibs were going to make a significant move up the table, but denied in the end. And quite a game between these two. 3 games and 15 goals they've offered up so far this season. Hibs went ahead through Josh Campbell 12 minutes in. A howler of a mistake by Alex Gogic, letting the ball slip under his boot. Venta set up Campbell to side foot in. The equaliser scored early second half by Marco Hara. VAR picked up a shirt tag by Obita on Taylor, and the St Mirren captain did his usual polish job from the penalty spot, sending Marshall the wrong way. Lovely attacking move from Hibs. Yuan involved, Venta involved, and a tap-in for the Hibs captain to have his team back in front again, and it looked as if that was the way it was going to finish as we entered the closing stages. But off the bench for St Mirren came 21-year-old Lewis Jameson. What an impact he had on the game as St Mirren threw everything at getting an equaliser, and it was the youngster who came up with the final blow in the game to claim a share of the points. A left foot shot blocked, but he followed up with his right and lashed one in past Hibs goalkeeper David Marshall, and it finishes up in Paisley. A really entertaining game it's turned out to be. St Mirren 2, Hibs 2.
On digital radio,
online at BBC Sport Scotland,
or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker or BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound.
Scottish football lives here.
What a goal!
Real drama at the end here in Paisley. You'd have to say it was actually a really enjoyable game to watch. You just couldn't quite tell what was going to happen in the match. A few mistakes that led to goals, a few chances passed up, and in the end that late show from the home side, who weren't at their best here this evening, but they managed to grab a point right at the death. My goodness, what a tough week Michael Stewart has been for these Hibs players, these Hibs fans, and the Hibs manager. Really sore one again tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, large chunks of the game he's got, you know, a lot to be happy with, but they end up without getting 3 points again, and you know that's it's a sore one for him, no doubt about it. But you know, I spoke about the equalising goal, so poor from Eli Yuhan. That, you know, Hibs are breaking forward, they've got men over, they've got an opportunity to potentially put the game to bed, and just slack play, lack of concentration, and credit to St Mirren straight up the other end, exploiting the gaps, and nice finish from Jameson to get the equaliser and get a point.
Real heart from the home side. They were far from the best actually tonight, weren't they? But did they deserve to get something in the end, do you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they didn't really create anything too much from open play. One of their goals comes from obviously a penalty through VAR, and then the other one's an Eli Yuan mistake. You could say the same for Hibernian. Their second goal was real quality. The first goal is a gift. I don't think St Mirren showed them their true selves in terms of their quality that's got them into this position in the league, but for St Mirren they showed a great amount of spirit to fight back. They never gave up, and the second half was an improved performance on the first, there's no doubt about that. And it's another game where they haven't lost. For Hibernian, it's another game where they haven't won, and that kind of run stretches for them. It's 12 points after 12 games, which is a really really poor return, but they're still in the mix, and it's been a kind of topsy-turvy season so far in the Premier League. But St Mirren, I think, on the balance, I think Stephen Robinson will be happy with the point. He'll be happy with his team's reaction to going that goal down, but he'll know that his team can play an awful lot better than that.
He'll be absolutely over the moon with a draw. You know, you're staring down the barrel at a defeat with only a few minutes to go, and you know, when it, as I said on a number of occasions during the game, when it went 1-1, I think Hibs' reaction was good. They reacted well, and they were the side that, you know, looked like they were going to, you know, get something. They did, and right up until the point where they end up, you know, conceding the equaliser, they looked like the side that was going to be able to see the game out and get 3 points. Now, I know that St Mirren scored late on, but then they're chucking everything, you know, in that wee short space of time. The goal goes in 2-2, and then for the last few minutes, you're fearful for Hibs. You're thinking this could turn into a disaster.
You guys will have played with players like Eli Yuhan. You saw the brilliance, the turn for the equaliser, and then, as Michael pointed out, disastrous at the end there. It must be so frustrating for a manager, but also for teammates as well, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're hoping that he comes up with more moments of magic than he does the opposite. He's a frustrating player to watch at times, because you know the ability that he's got, and he showed it tonight on a number of occasions. He can do things that are kind of you just don't expect, but also he has these momentary lapses of concentration, and other times when he's looked so good, he technically looks poor. He's a conundrum, and you're right, I think for managers trying to coach him, you must at times drive him mad.
Tavares as well offers something tonight again, didn't he? You guys touched on it in commentary, a guy that's been nowhere at this football club, and all of a sudden you can see the potential.
Yeah, I mean, he was exactly nowhere. I can't even remember him, you know, playing. I don't think he did play a 90 minutes. I would love to see the stat whether he played a 90 minutes or not for Hibs before Nick Montgomery came in, and now he's starting every game. He's got something that to offer the side. I just think that, you know, Hibs are yet to find the right balance in their side. It's the same recurring themes of they're playing some nice football, they're creating some good opportunities, but they're conceding and shipping in too many goals, and that is not just down to the defence. I just think the balance of the team as a whole, they need to be, you know, more difficult to play against at times, and if they're able to do that with one or two acquisitions and just a wee bit of a nuanced change with the personnel, then I think Hibs they'll be okay, but they're obviously right in the middle of that table where there's not much between the teams.
They've now conceded 20 goals so far in the league in 12 games, which is joint worst with Ross County. So it just tells you exactly what the problem has been for Hibernian. And as much as they will cause defences problems, they will cause team problems, but they don't often enough. And I know they did it against Celtic well the other week, but they don't often enough keep clean sheets or look like they're going to keep a clean sheet. Tonight, maybe unfortunate. The first one's a VAR penalty kick, and the second one's a mistake. But just in general, the team to play against concede too many goals, and that, until you fix that, it's going to be difficult to win games regardless of what you do at the other end of the pitch. I think that is the kind of biggest problem that Nick Montgomery's got moving forward, is making sure that his team can be entertaining and expansive and attacking like he wants them to be, but can they start to add the clean sheets and not conceding as freely, because 20 goals is a lot of goals, you know, when you look at that in the table, compared with just Hearts, who are above them in league, have only conceded 11 goals, so 9 less goals conceded. So yeah, I mean, that is something that's going to have to be addressed, I think, by Nick Montgomery.
Yeah, just looking at the bottom of the table then, St Johnstone bottom, Livingston above them. It's just so tight. Ross County, Motherwell, Hibs, Aberdeen, before we go into the top 6 there. So 2 points adrift, St Johnstone off Livingston and Ross County. St Johnstone, of course, under new management last night, getting a draw at home to Motherwell. It probably should have been 3 points, they will feel, been 2 goals up there. What are you guys' thoughts on the appointment of Craig Levein as manager?
Well, I mean, it was kind of left field because, you know, having worked with Craig a lot in the media recently, you feel as though he's quite enjoying that and being out of the pressure, I suppose, that comes with being a manager. But it's like a drug to these guys, and they kind of need to get back in when the opportunity arises. I think St Johnstone obviously felt that after Stevie McLean, they wanted to go with experience. Craig does have a lot of experience, maybe not in the last 10 years or so in terms of when he's actually been in a job. I think he's only managed a couple of years out the last 10, but he has a wealth of experience and knowledge at managing.
Can you see why they went for him? Do you think?
I think they see it as probably a safe pair of hands, and somebody that, as I said, would be the polar opposite to what Stevie was. So yeah, I mean, I can understand it. Did I expect it? No, I didn't. You know, it wouldn't have been one of the names that would have jumped off the page at me, but there he is.
This will be interesting, Michael.
Why would it be interesting, Kenny?
What are your thoughts? You had a lot to say about Craig Levein when he was at Hearts. What are your thoughts on this appointment from St Johnstone? It's a huge call.
Yeah, it is. I think he's very fortunate. Very fortunate. You know, as Thomas said, that he's been in a job for 2 years out of the last 11 years. Didn't do particularly well at Hearts, so for him to land a top flight manager's role, I think he's very fortunate. He's got an opportunity to make a fist of it and try and keep St Johnstone in the top flight. It's I'm surprised his name was obviously completely left field, which suggests that he's got you know, good contact with the board, I would imagine, which is how he's been able to get his name to the top of the list and get the job.
It'd be terrific if he did keep them up. I mean, I think when we were up at Dens a couple of weeks ago, Michael, you were talking about your fears with Callum Davidson that night, your fears for St Johnstone this season, and all the guys just about on Sports Sound when we asked for predictions at the start of the season. A lot of that was based, I think, on the poor League Cup that Saints had. Yep. Tipped them to be in big trouble this season.
Well, the thing that I think is quite telling with when Stevie McLean left and Alec Cleland took the job for a game was that he got back to basics. 4-4-2. Ryan McGowan came back into the team. Chris Kane and Nick Clark at the top end of the park, which obviously Stevie McLean wasn't able to do on occasions. He'd bombed out some other players as well. So it was just getting back to basics, and all of a sudden there was a bit more of a familiarity to that team that Alec Cleland picked. They didn't stray, you know, a million miles away from that last night either. And it's still going to be a challenge, but I'd imagine, you know, that there'll be quite a few transfers in January.
I mean,
possibly.
You know, you're talking about keeping St Johnstone in the league, but actually, when you look at the table, you know, what are they? 4 points off.
Yeah, well, the fact is
Aberdeen in seventh.
The fact is that the victory that Alec Cleland got, and then the point, you know, 4 points out of 6. It certainly starts to close things up a little bit. But you know, I think the issue for St Johnstone still remains in that I think a lot of the clubs, even though it's very truncated in the middle of the table, I think a lot of the clubs that were in the bottom end last season have improved. Having said that, you do start to worry about Livingston. I've got to say that Davy Martindale is, you know, he's spoken a lot at the start of the season about, you know, budgets being cut and you know, changing of ownership and all that sort of stuff. And I just do wonder whether his eyes been taken off the ball to a certain extent, and whether that filters through to the players. And you know, you're never going to write Livingston off, because, you know, they've been in the division long enough to realise that you don't do that. But they're the sort of one side that perhaps you would say from last season at the moment are looking like they could, you know, tail off a little bit. It's up to them to turn that round, and the challenge for St Johnstone is to make sure that they keep themselves in the pack, in the hunt to avoid relegation. But yeah, it's you know,
I mean, really, it's crazy when you look at the table. I'm just sitting here looking at the table just now and thinking to myself, Motherwell have taken, is it 2 points from
24, yep.
2 points from 24, and they're on the same points as Aberdeen and Hibs. That's incredible. That.
It's so tight. I mean, we're actually going to hear from Barry Robson. We didn't get a chance to hear from him earlier in the programme, and we'll hear from both managers here. Just in terms of both these sides tonight, where do you expect them to finish come the end of the season?
Well, it's a difficult question.
Some definite top 6?
I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
Surely, yeah.
I'm not going to jump in. But
yes,
you know,
yes, they are. I mean, he's sitting on the fence. You know, you ask him a question. He says it's tough. Right, St Mirren are going to finish in the top 6, and Hibs is dependent on what they do in January.
Right, but do you think? Would you say certainty of the top 6 right now? From what you've seen,
yeah, not a certainty because it's too tight. You know, there's two. You know, they've not won in 7 games. How can you say definitely?
I just thought they showed a lot of potential.
Yes.
But again, it's just frustrating. And we spoke before unpredictability of Hibs, didn't we?
I mean, look, Hibs absolutely capable of finishing top 6. They're capable of going and challenging for Europe, but the inconsistency and what I've just described, the fragility in a defensive sense, not purely just the defence, but the team as a whole. If that gets addressed and strengthened in January, then top 6. If it doesn't, then it's still up for debate. Tom will sit on the fence continually, but
I just didn't want to dive in because people know I'm a St Mirren fan and say, St Mirren are definitely going to finish top 6 because that's a bit predictable.
He said both teams.
Yeah, all right, St Mirren top 6. Hibs, we'll wait and see. They need to sort out the fact that they concede too many goals. I'm not going to jump in with that one.
Right, fair enough. Let's then look ahead to tomorrow night. We heard from Philippe Clement earlier on Sports Sound. So it's a double header of European action for you tomorrow. Rangers at home to Sparta Prague. That one kicks off at 8 o'clock. It's a 5:45 start in Greece. Aberdeen away at PAOK. Sports Sound is on air at 5:05. Let's then hear from the Aberdeen manager Barry Robson. He spoke with the media earlier this afternoon.
Obviously, yeah, we've got a few knocks, things that we're looking at. We'll make a decision on a couple of them tomorrow as well. So, yeah, we're still in a good place. The squad's still how would I say, healthy place, but we have got things that we need to take into account.
Barry, I mean, you've obviously got a cup final to look forward to on the horizon. You've got a number of important league games coming up. It's looking like a long shot that you will qualify from this group in Europe. Are you at the point yet where you might look to the European games to actually rest some of your key players? Or while there's still arithmetically a possibility that you could still qualify, are you going to continue throwing everything you've got at it?
Well, it's that case of always saying about resting players. Sometimes we might have knocks or injuries or things that we're worried about, but we want to win every game we play in as an Aberdeen manager and as an Aberdeen player. So we have to. We know we've got lots of games, but we also have to manage the players as best we can. So yeah, listen, we're in the fight here. We're here to come and try and win the game, and we know how difficult it's going to be because of obviously the real quality they've got. But yeah, we're still in the fight. We still want to be in the fight.
How much belief can you take from the performance in Frankfurt? As I mentioned to Dante there, everyone wrote you off going into that game. I guess people are again going into this one. I mean, what's the mood like in the camp, and how much belief can you take from what you did in Germany going into this one?
I think a big thing, we've performed really well in Europe. I think everyone will agree with that. We've never got the results we deserved, and nobody will change my mind on that. But obviously we wanted to have more points than we did. But the most important thing is we keep going, and every game is important to us.
Barry Robson there, you'd have to say he puts an incredibly positive spin on things. It's a tough one for them tomorrow night, isn't it?
Yeah, very difficult game. We said at the top of the show how difficult it will be. Extremely partisan crowd, and PAOK are a very good side. The performances in Europe, as you pointed out, have been good. There's been a lot to like about some of the performances that they've had. But again, for me, they're a kind of Jekyll and Hyde team at the minute. You see the performance against Motherwell, which was brilliant, and it shows what they are capable of, but they don't bring it on a weekly basis, and that's something that will have to be ironed out. At this minute in time, it hasn't had an effect in the league because we talked about just how strange the league is at the minute, so it's still there for them in terms of that, although they've got a very difficult game on Sunday away at Celtic Park. in the semi-final, I felt as though Hibernian were the better side, but nobody's going to remember that. They're in the final. So for Barry, he does put a positive spin in things. And I suppose from his point of view, they're in Europe and they're in a final, the first final of the Cup, and they're still in touching distance with a couple of games in hand of getting into a better position in the league. So you can understand why he puts that positive spin on it. I do think certainly the games that I've watched them, I didn't see the Motherwell game live. The live ones that I've watched, they've not been an entertaining team to watch. But again, that may come. But I can understand why he would be positive about his squad at this minute in time.
In Miovski, he's got a top quality striker, hasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. All you need to do is just look at his goal scoring record. His all round play as well. I think he's very, very good addition to Aberdeen in the last year or so. He's made a big impact. I don't think they create enough, and which makes you think how many more goals he would get if they did. I look at Aberdeen middle to front. That front five that they had, playing at the weekend there with Shinnie and Barron, Clarkson, McGrath and Miovski, and then you've got Duke on the bench. If you're a manager and looking at it, you go, there's plenty there to go and work with. And I just don't think they're trying to obviously get the balance right, but when I look at Aberdeen, and just to follow on from what Tom was saying there, it's not a bad habit to get into winning games, and they've won the last 2 games. Motherwell performance was really good. I mean, it came from nowhere really. That not just the result, but the performance was really good. But that can happen when you've got good players. Then the semi-final, I'm sorry, I just didn't see that as a good performance from Aberdeen, but they win the game. Tom was absolutely spot on. Semi-final, they're in the final. They just need to get the consistency of performances, and then I think the results will come. And I think they should be doing more middle to front with the quality that they've got.
European action on Sportsound tomorrow evening. This evening we brought you top flight Premiership action here in Paisley, and it was a decent game, you'd have to say. In the end, the points were shared. It finished St Mirren 2, Hibs 2. Let's now hear from the Saints manager Stephen Robinson. He's been speaking with Brian McLaughlin.
Stephen, a remarkable game, 4 goals, it's 15 in total in the 3 games against Hibernian, but what did you make of that incredible 95 minutes or so?
I thought the boys were terrific, one of our best performances of the season. I thought a point was the least we deserved, against a very good Hibs side. They've got dangerous players that hurt you. We got punished for a mistake, a very uncharacteristic mistake, and we responded to that, and then we responded again. It was, it wasn't good defending from us on the halfway line, and we got punished. But the character and the quality, I thought we dominated large parts of the game. We delivered so many balls into the box with quality, and we just didn't have the finish. And it was young LJ comes on and delighted for him, because he's been terrific in training over the last 3 weeks, and he gets for me a very deserved equaliser.
I'll speak about Lewis in a second, but the first equaliser came from the spot. We spoke about VAR before the game. You said he hadn't had much luck with it so far. Did the football gods with you tonight?
Yeah, we must keep VAR now. Look, it's, as I said previously, if it works for you, it's great. If it doesn't, then you want rid of it. But the reality is, it's here to stay. And if we're going to use it, it costs a club like ourselves, 120 grand. Depending on where you finish, you pay a certain amount towards VAR. If you look at England, there's a lot more investment into VAR. The amount of cameras, the amount, I've had it for 4 or 5 years now, I think now. So if we're going to do it, we can't do it half-cocked. We have to do it properly. Otherwise, there's no point in it. And I feel it's here to stay. I was a big fan of it. I wanted it, and it certainly makes the game different. Let's put it like that.
Hibs got back into the lead once again, but this never say die attitude from your team, and obviously got the equaliser. And Lewis Jameson, you spoke about before the game, now he's really impressed you in training. And I actually said just before he came on, we'll see what his qualities are. They certainly showed that, didn't they?
Yeah, he put one great delivery in as well. I think Toy should have got on the end of it. It probably was the story of the night. We dominated a lot of possession, put a lot of good deliveries in, and then our end product in around that 6-yard box wasn't quite there at times. But LJ he's a player who, he's probably 2 years behind his development. He's a talented boy. I've a lot of faith in him. He's really responded to what we've asked him to do, and he's been terrific for the last 2 to 3 weeks. So it was a big decision to leave Stav off the bench, because I'm leaving a good player off the bench, but he's rewarded me with the decision with a very deserved equaliser, in my opinion.
go to Dundee on Saturday, again against a team who will be battling for possibly top 6, possibly try to keep away from the bottom. What do you expect then from Tony Dock's team?
As with every team in this division, it's a fight, it's a battle, it's a scrap. Nobody's any divine right to be in the top 6, and there's such fine margins and fine margins between each team. We have to go there. We've got a half-decent record there at Dundee, so we'll go there confident after that performance, and after our performance at Celtic. There's nothing but confidence in the group. As I say, uncharacteristic defensive mistakes from us, so we need to rectify that and take a little bit more of the balls we're putting in the box. We have to start finishing them off to maintain our position in the league.
I have to say, managers absolutely crack me up at times. I have no idea if he can hear me or not. He's down on the touchline at the moment speaking to St Mirren TV. But Stephen Robinson has just said they were terrific tonight, and that was one of their best performances of the season.
Yeah, well, I mean, you must...
Come on.
It's a wee bit of reverse psychology, maybe. I think he can look at the fact that they showed a lot of character in the game to come back into on 2 occasions. I think he's right to point out that they did get a lot of delivery into the box, which is something that you see from St Mirren on every match that they play.
So they do that every match.
He's right.
How was this the best then?
He's right to point out that there wasn't enough quality when the ball came into the box in terms of people getting on the end of it. It wasn't the best performance I've seen from St Mirren this season.
They weren't active for long spells tonight.
No,
he was very positive. I do think it's perhaps just an element of trying to keep people on their toes and messing with their head a little bit, because that St Mirren have been very good this season. And they've made it very difficult for a lot of teams.
They set high standards for themselves.
Yes, they have. And I'll be honest, for large chunks of that game, Hibs were the better side. And St Mirren, credit to them, they've managed to come away from this with a point. When
I'll be interested to see what Nick Montgomery's interview says.
It'll basically just be a repeat of what Stephen Robinson said.
But they were decent tonight.
Yeah, they were. But here's the thing. From a positive perspective for St Mirren, large chunks of the game I thought they were second best, but they've got a point. The flip side is, for Hibs, large chunks I thought they were the better side, they've only got a point. And there's a recurring theme in there that Hibs not getting as many points as they should, and for St Mirren, when they've not performed at their best, they've still picked up points, and that's the sign of a team that are always at it.
We spoke earlier about the influence of Bojan Miovski for Aberdeen. Mark O'Hara, again, it wasn't his best game tonight, but he's a good player to watch. He's so influential, and when you see him step up to take a penalty, I mean, he's so cool, isn't he?
Yeah, Mark's been brilliant since he joined the club, and obviously getting the captaincy. He had a terrific season last season. This season's been marred by injury. I didn't think tonight that it was his best game, but he stepped up as the captain, and it was a very cool penalty kick. He's normally red hot from the penalty spot, and it was an important goal at an important time for St Mirren. Obviously one that we all missed with the VAR decision, but that's one of the occasions when VAR is beneficial. Here's Stephen Robinson there changing his tune a bit, VAR, from his pre-match to his post-match interview. He's saying it has to improve, don't like it, and then after the match he gets a VAR decision that brings St Mirren back into the game. But
I mean, Nick Montgomery's got to be down there. Again, he's not going to say it on here, is he? But I mean, for a player to be pulling a shirt now,
well, you just don't get away with it.
No,
you just don't get away with it, especially in the box. But we're actually seeing quite a lot of it, which is, a big surprise for me. And if you're a defender or you're in the box and you're defending a corner or a set play, you just cannot do it. I mean, you used to be able to do it, and if you were cute enough, you could do it. But now, you're just not getting away with it.
Tonight's Champions League scores: Bayern Munich beat Galatasaray 2-1. Still playing, it looks like. Man United were 2-0 up away at Copenhagen. They're now 4-3 down, deep into stoppage time. Arsenal beat Seville 2-0. PSV Eindhoven 1, Lens 0. Napoli 1, Union Berlin 1, Real Madrid 3, Braga 0. Sociedad 3, Benfica 1, and Salzburg, it's just gone off my screen, I think they did have a victory. 1-0 they lost at home to Inter Milan, and 2-2 here in Paisley this evening. We heard from Barry Robson, Tom, a short time ago. We heard from Philippe Clement earlier in the programme. We are at Ibrox tomorrow night. Full coverage of the Aberdeen game, and then it's Rangers at home to Sparta Prague. You were out in Prague. What sort of...
Yeah, I was in Sparta.
In Sparta, yes, as you said earlier. What sort of challenge they present Rangers tomorrow night?
Yeah, they're a good team. They are a very good team. I think Rangers at home, it should be a different game. Rangers kind of sat off them, certainly in the first 50 minutes of the game over in Prague, and they've got a lot of talented players. So they'll ask questions of Rangers, but if Rangers manage to play more on the front foot and play more like they did in the second half, they will they'll put up a good fist of it. I mean, what Rangers have at the moment is a wee bit of momentum, and they're growing in belief. And obviously reaching the first final of the season on the back of a run of wins. I think it's 5 of the last 6 they've won. The only other game that was the draw over in Prague, which on the face of it is actually a really good result away from home. And that the group itself's very tight. Tomorrow night's game's huge in terms of how qualification is going to look, because obviously Rangers have still got to go out to play Betis, who are probably the favourites in the group. You'd expect them to beat Limassol. So tomorrow night's game becomes pivotal in terms of moving forward. Who's going to come out of this group? So it's a massive game, Ibrox. But they couldn't go into the game in any better frame of mind, if you put it that way. Certainly off the back of a cup semi-final win, they're scoring goals. They're looking more threatening. They're playing with a bit of menace, so I'm expecting a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you said earlier, Michael, the manager seems to have something about him, a bit of presence there. He speaks very well. He seems no nonsense. He's done a very good job in a short period of time.
Yeah, he's got a stature about him. And, you talk about no nonsense. It's not just a case in terms of reading the riot act. And the game on Sunday was an interesting bit where he was going mental at Dessers on the touchline for not closing down the defence. And this was late on. There was only a couple of minutes to go. They're winning the game, and Dessers hadn't pressed, and he was going mental at them. And then after the game, he walked onto the park. He had his arm round Dessers, and he was talking to him, one-to-one. And I just thought, there's the two sides of where he was clearly demonstrative, having a go at him, but then rather than just leaving it like that, he's got the wherewithal just to also go across and calm things down in case the player's feeling like, I'm no starting now, the manager doesn't fancy me. And he was there in his ear, obviously explaining to him what he's wanting and just making sure that there's that connection, because players want to feel like they're wanted. They want to feel like they're going to have an opportunity. And for Dessers, it's not been an easy start. He's now playing second fiddle to Danilo, so the manager's got the understanding. He's had a great career himself, and that just showed me that it's another string to his bow. I just think it was a good bit of management, and it's just a wee insight into clearly where he has no issue with being able to shout and ball, but also he has that other side of him where he knows that you need to be able to just keep the players on side, and it's on the face of it so far, he is doing well because he's winning games of football, and with that, players start to buy into and believe in what he's looking to do. They'll need to, and they will, I would imagine, look to recruit some players in the January window. But there's not a great deal they can do about some of the guys that they brought in the summer on big or long-term contracts. That I'm not sure that the manager will be able to change that. They simply won't. They'll just have to try to improve what they've got and try to sort of flush it out over the next few transfer windows.